Okay, you forced my hand. It's showtime. We got an I guess from Caesar. Thanks, Caesar. It's Jake. And we're going to do the classic Jake show, start of the show. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear the music? Is there any audio? Is the audio scuffed? Hello, what's up? There's theoretically music playing. I watched the VOD. I hear no music. Okay, see, this is... How about now? How about now? Now I hear music. I think it's fading out. Maybe that's the problem. What is this? They shouldn't be talking. I don't want any talking in my music. How about now? How about now? I was playing music the entire last Hangout stream, and I could hear it for the duration of the stream, and then I watched back the VOD, and it was fully inaudible. So, who's to say what can and can't be heard on the Jake Show? There's really no way of knowing. In theory, there's music playing right now. Someday we'll be able to figure out how to listen to what the actual stream sounds like. I'm getting an email from Rugs USA. I ordered some new rugs. Audio is hard. That is true. I bought some new rugs because this one, as you can notice by this white line of tape, is dying. My vacuum keeps eating it and taking it apart piece by piece. And I've taped it to the floor, which is a temporary solution to prevent my vacuum from continuing to eat and destroy it. But it's time. It's time for a new rug. And also it's just dirty as hell because my cats have puked on it probably 1,000 times. And I have cleaned it to the best of my ability, but getting cat puke out of a rug is not easy. And so from this vantage point, it probably doesn't look that dirty, although even from here you can kind of see the dirty marks, but trust me, IRL, it's real nasty. So we are going to retire the IKEA rug, and on the recommendation of Jake's Mama 1 from the chat, I bought some rugs off of rugsusa.com, which apparently is a good rug store. I don't know where you get rugs. I typically don't buy rugs. Get a new IKEA rug. That was my initial instinct, although I don't think I want a blue rug. I don't want to get this rug again because I've changed the color palette of the room. It used to be pretty much this color everywhere. This blue, this sort of like pale blue. And now that color is gone because I got really self-conscious when Winnie, friend of the show, Winnie Code, said that my room had a lot of blue in it, and I got very self-conscious, and I said, you know what? It's time to mix it up. It's time to change. So I got this red bedspread, which is not actually red, even though on camera it looks fire truck red. It is actually sort of a nice kind of like burnt orange. Winnie was not in my room. I just took photos of my room and sent them to Winnie because I was consulting her about some furniture purchases. And so she was like, send me photos of the space so that I can get a vision of what you need to make your room good. And I did that. And then she said, wow, there's so much blue. And I said, yeah, is that bad? And her reaction was like a sort of diplomatic way of being like, yes, that's bad. So then I was like, all right, time to change what the room looks like so that it's good. Because I didn't really have strong feelings about the blue. I was just like, oh, there's a lot of things that are this color that are also very cheap. So I'll just buy all of those things. And then my room will look sort of like, what am I listening to? I'm supposed to be listening to lo-fi beats. This is not lo-fi beats. This is like R&B. Give me lo-fi beats. Nothing against those women and their beautiful voices, but I can't have lyrics. I can't have lyrics while I'm trying to talk. Fucks with my head. There's more talking. Hello? Can I not have talking in my songs, please? Just give me songs with no talking. Maybe I need to add instrumental to the copyright free lo-fi instrumental. Lo-fi beats you can talk to. That is what I'm looking for. Let's try this. How many songs are in this? This is 10 songs. That's not good enough. Folks, the challenges of being an awesome streamer. The challenges, copyright free lo-fi beats, streaming. I think that's what I was just in, but oh, with no vocals. 7 hours. We'll see what happens. I don't hate blue. I didn't really have strong feelings one way or the other on the other. It was not an aesthetic choice when I had the color palette, my previous room's color palette. It was not an aesthetic choice. It was a cost benefit analysis. It was what is the cheapest stuff I can buy that will not look like complete shit and will make my room look like it has some sort of semblance of aesthetic cohesion. And I was like, okay, this sort of like extremely depressing like desaturated blue color, I can get pillows, I can get a bedspread, I can get Mjorn, thank you for the Bezo bucks. Thank you, Mjorn, for the prime. Folks, look at that. I decreased the goal. I think 20 subs is maybe a little bit too ambitious. But we're feeling it out. I don't know. So I brought it down to 10. If we can get 10 subs, I will play Chained Together with, I think, at least Allsup, and if we can get Rocky's computer to be fixed, Rocky, and then maybe Grant. Grant said he would potentially be down. I don't know. We'll see. But I know that Allsup said he was down to play, and Rocky is down to play, barring his inability to get his computer working. So we need 8 more subs for that, or we'll probably just do it for free if you guys don't sub. You call him Allsup? Oh yes, I guess so. I guess I do. Yeah, sometimes I remember that's weird because we call him Alex on the show, and it's like part of me feels like it's weird that it's like almost like it's not doxing because his full name is on the internet and like linked to all our socials and stuff. So like, it's not like he's trying to hide his last name. But yeah, I call him Soup sometimes, which is from college. And I think the story goes that we heard when we were doing college improv and Alex was in a frat, that is what they called him. I think maybe this is how I remember the story, is that we would do improv together in college. And then when Allsup would come out to do improv, there would be like this sort of like his frat brothers or whatever in the back of the room would all go soup. I don't remember if that actually happened. In my head, that's what happened. And then we thought that was funny. And so we started ironically calling him that. And then it became something that I unironically call him. And now I just call him Super Soupy or Allsup. But sometimes I call him Alex. I call him a lot of different things. I don't remember why we were talking about that. Are you looking forward to Lying for Apes this weekend? Oh, is that the trivia game that I'm playing? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but I am going to be in some sort of, I guess it's not trivia, game show. I'm going to be in some sort of game show. Yes. Would you like to save and Ape's life? Now I'm lost. I thought I understood what you were talking about, and now I've become more confused. But I'm going to be on. Let's shout him out. Ricky Peacock. Is this gonna work? Which channel I'm shouting out does not exist. Okay, let's try this again. Shout out Ricky Peacock. There we go. I just spelled it wrong. Would you lie to save an ape's life? Is that the name of the game show? It's like, it's Would I Like You, but for the benefit of apes. All right, brother, you're making me go insane with these typos, man. No, I think I get it now. The premise of the game show, as I understand it, and go follow Ricky so that you can watch the show, which is on the 30th, which I think is on Sunday. Sorry, my phone is. It's fine with that. I don't actually. I'm not for real mad, bro. It's kayfabe. It's just kayfabe. It's a classic Jake pretending to be mad for content moment. One of Jake's classic bits. One of the classic Jake's bits. Remember last night when Allsup stole my guy who has a dead conjoined twin bit? Classic. Another classic Jake bit that everyone loves to take. No, that's I'm certainly that bit has been done a billion times by other people before me, but always fun. I mean, we've been doing the show so long that we've all, I'm sure, stolen all of each other's bits, and not stolen, just like are doing them. It's nothing is stolen on this show. Another victim of the Dark Prince of Improv. That's right. South Park did it. Yeah, there you go. We both stole it from South Park. Last night was chaotic. Yeah, last night was chaotic in a good way. I think that was fun. I think rideshare is maybe the best format. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, rideshare is so weird because it's like, it feels like it shouldn't work based on everything that I feel like I understand about what makes a good Everything Now show format. It feels too aimless on paper of just like, why are these people talking to each other? Like, but it just does work. And the stinger, yeah, the fuck my car is so fun. Haven't you done like 5 ride shares this month? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we've only done it twice. But we've definitely done it more. We did it very recently. That's maybe why you feel like we've done it so many, because we were gonna do Talk Fight last night instead, and then something happened with casting that I don't remember, and it ended up being rideshare instead. When do you think we'll see Monday's format again? Buddy Battle? It's already in the calendar for July. We've cast it. I won't reveal who we cast for it, but we got 2 real life buddies. So it's gonna happen in late July. But we've already talked a little bit about how to make it better. First of all, I don't know. I'm sort of two minds where it's like, part of the fun of that show, I don't know about that format, but part of the fun of that specific show was it all falling apart and everyone just getting like fake mad at each other. And just like yelling at each other, and all the tech breaking, which the tech breaking was not intentional. The tech breaking was just me desperately trying to get the tech to work, but it was funny. I don't know. I think my take and sort of what we talked about after the show was like, it was the first half of the show was us genuinely trying really hard and everything kind of falling apart. And the second half of the show was us sort of like giving in to the chaos of how broken it was and just sort of leaning into that chaos. And I thought it was really fun. But I don't know if that is something that is sustainable for a format long term. But Talkfight is basically that to an extent, and it works some of the time. Something I'm curious about. When I started watching y'all, it was insane to me that you put this show on 4 nights a week, and it still is. How much time outside of the show do y'all dedicate to logistics, and has a job gotten larger post Twitch Award? It is insane. It feels insane to do the show 4 nights a week. We put a lot of work into stuff behind the scenes. There is obviously like all of the visual graphic stuff like that. That to me, I feel like seems maybe like the most obvious thing that you think of, because like that's what you see on the show. So depending on the format, that can take a long time. Like Buddy Battle, for example, probably took like 12 to 15 hours ballpark from like when first of all, we have a production meeting where we write it or we create it. So that is like a production. We have weekly productions meetings, which we just started doing like 2 weeks ago. We made it a weekly thing where every Tuesday we meet. Before that, we would try to meet every week, but just kind of like plan around all of our schedules, and it was insanely difficult to get all 5 of us in a room. So recently we've started doing production meetings once a week, which has been very helpful, extremely helpful. But yeah, so like for Buddy Battle, what will happen is we'll have a production meeting, and sometimes it depends, formats get pitched in different ways. For this one, we were like, we want to do more collab formats, just because we don't want to burn out the ones that we already have. We don't want to burn out Party Quest. We don't want to burn out Subjective Jeopardy and Shark's Tank. So we were like, and we also wanted to create a format that feels like it's easier for guests who aren't necessarily improvisers. So we were like, what's a format and we could get on more than one streamer. So the thought behind Buddy Battle was like, this would be great for like streamer couples or streamer friends, or just like, and they don't necessarily have to be funny, really, because that was sort of the idea of like having one team, like a team of fake characters who are fake buddies as like us as improvisers, who can be sort of like the comedic engine of the show and just like be silly and like have silly answers and stuff, and they're competing against real people who are just trying to play the game legitimately. And then the chaos of the that dynamic mixed with the host. Anyway, that was the sort of like big picture premise. So it starts with like we want to have a streamer format, we want to have a collab format. Then we think about like, all right, well, what can we do? What are some game shows that we can rip off? Like we just like went through a bunch of old we went through a B game / format could be like a Price is Right with Discord submissions. I really like Price is Right. We've been wanting to do a, this is not really the same, but I still want to do some sort of Antiques Roadshow format where like we have people bringing in like weird shit and like experts giving the history of that thing. But yeah, so we'll start with that, and then we'll be like, we'll look up a bunch of old game shows that we could rip off. Basically, we'll just like do some Googling, like watching for old game shows that we can put our spin on. And Newlywed Game came up, and then it's like talking about all the interactive stuff. Are you still taking format submissions? Yeah, I mean, we're always open to suggestions. We're not going to take everything, obviously, but like we're always going to read everything. So if you post something in the like feedback channel, we will absolutely take a look at it. A lot of times what will happen is people will pitch like a full format, and we will just sort of like strip it for parts and be like, like, I don't know necessarily that we'll do this whole thing, but like this would make a great B game in this format, or like this would make a really fun interactive element in the format that we're already working on or whatever. So like, I would say always any ideas you have, pitch them, because even if they don't become a totally bespoke like format that you've created, odds are it will be useful to us. So if you want to help us, please, it's your suggestions are always welcome. Yeah, Brando's format is the gold standard. Brando we basically did that verbatim. We switched like 2 things in that format, but like it was like 99% cooked off the rip. So that was very impressive. Behemoth, yeah, please send those our way. We will take a look. But yeah, so the production meeting happens typically. That'll be like an hour and a half from like, let's talk about what this new format is going to be, and then we're just like workshopping it together. We're literally sitting around the kitchen table or in the studio, depending on whether or not we've ordered food, and talking about like, all right, well, like what are the sub games? And we're thinking like, all right, thematically, like let's think of like what if it's buddy battle, it's like, all right, well, dating is a theme, connection is a theme, like the memory lane thing. We were thinking like, we're also thinking like extrapolating on certain interactive elements that we already do in other formats and how to sort of like reskin them or reframe them thematically. So like we're like, all right, well, every format should have an image submission game. The image submission games, because it's like a great, you know, from a business perspective, it's like the image submission games are really great because they get people to join the Discord, which helps with viewer retention. So we're like, all right, we definitely want to do an image submission game. People really like them. It drives people to the Discord. So how do we put an image submission game into this format in a way that's not disruptive and is on theme? And that's how we kind of work backwards from that to like, oh, okay, well, what about memory lane? And they submit an image, and then the characters have to like justify how that image relates to their friendship in some way. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. But that's sort of the process. I'd be happy to edit for you guys. I'd suggest more shorts, single bits, getting the setup / punchline. Yeah, we actually just started working with an editor recently. So they are cooking right now. But thank you, Mac. And if you ever want to just like cut something together, to send our way to take a look at, happy to look at that. We don't really have the budget to pay another editor. We are currently paying the guy who does our long form like cut downs. So those will hopefully start chugging along pretty soon. The ones that you see on the YouTube, the like highlight reel things, that's a new thing that we're trying to do. And then the shorts are part of that, but that's very new. Like we just started this month. I didn't want to join the Discord at first, and that made me actually do it. So it works. Yeah, I think the image submissions, I think the prompts for the submissions was too vague. Didn't figure it had to be 2 characters who are friends. I don't think it needs to be, Caesar. In fact, part of me feels like it's maybe better that it's not, because then when it's 2 characters in a picture, then it's like always going to be like, that was us and here's what we were doing. But if it's just like a photo of like, let's say a salad, I don't know why you would do that, but like, and then it could be like, oh yeah, that was that salad that gave me food poisoning when we were, you know, like at Dave & Buster's. I don't know why I got the Dave & Buster's salad, you know, like it can trigger it could be just a jumping off point for some anecdote. Did I say that word right? Anecdote. Yes. I never even follow the prompt. I just like seeing you guys explain random picks. Yeah. I've noticed that some people really do not like to follow the prompt, which is fine. Dave & Buster's salad sounds terrible. Yeah, I agree. How many formats do we have now? I don't know. I've lost track. I think it's around 20. But a lot. And there are some favorites that will get more play and some that don't get played as much because they're harder to cast or whatever. They're prompts. Yeah. There are prompts. Your character last night that was kind of a loser who works at Motorola in the early 2000s was extremely relatable. I remember a couple times where my parents told me to be nice to classmates because their dad was laid off at Motorola. Interesting. The Motorola thing was a panic throwaway where I just had to come up with something that sounded boring. But that feels right. Mostly that character was just inspired by these like fake spiritual like woke guys who are using sort of like meditation and like that kind of whole vibe as a shield to be pieces of shit and not do any and not go to therapy to deal with the trauma of their relationships. Can you explain your character last night? The second one, can I explain it? There wasn't really a deeper idea there. It was just guy who, I mean, I was really happy that Alsip came in and did the support move that I was sort of hoping would happen. But the backup bit was I was just going to be a guy who like very clearly wanted to be harassed and like touched in the car, but wasn't gonna say it outright, and so I would just like put on the sleep mask and was like going to start like really heavily being like, please don't do this to me, but like making it more and more obvious that like that is like sort of his fetish. But then when Alsip came in and actually started tickling me, then that became a way more fun game of what it was going to be before I got ejected. Because y'all had the, I think it was Dark Web Prosciutto who's got the itchy trigger finger on the ejection. The bit was then going to become also coming in more and more ridiculous outfits and like tickling me, and then Chris having to explain this absurd, weird, magical guy who keeps coming in and like molesting me, basically. So I don't know. There was no deeper idea than that. I just thought, guy with a funny haircut and a funny voice, and he's wearing a sleep mask, and we'll figure it out from there. That's a lot of Everything Now Show characters. Not that specific bit, but extremely superficial. There were too many elections last night. Oh, ejections. Yeah, the price was pretty cheap. It was $3, which I think typically we have it at $4 or we raise it. But I don't know. I think it became part of the bit. Price is usually $5, I noticed. Yeah, I don't know. It's it might be interesting for ejections to be vote based. My feeling on that, I don't know. I have a hard time with like, it's tricky when somebody donates to have something happen, and then after that we put it to a vote to decide whether or not it actually happens, and then if the audience votes to make it not happen, then I feel this weird thing of like, well, this person did just pay to do the thing, and then we basically just denied them, but it was not a full denial because we did the democratic process. I feel like they need to be like, they need to understand that that's what will happen, and it's hard to articulate all of that in like a little graphic. You know, like $5 to eject is way easier to write than like $5 to cue a vote to decide whether we eject. And yes, war, it also does slows down the pacing, which sometimes you really just want to like hear that siren. Chris always brings up this point when talking about the interactive, and I think it's 100% right. That, well, speaking of, did y'all just hear that notification ping? That should be illegal. You should not be able to put that into a song. It's ringing. Elect to eject. That's pretty good. I do like the alliterative rhyming element of that Sadville. But what Chris has said, and I totally agree, is that when a sound alert goes off on the show that cues some interactive element, like an ejection or a resume or a call or whatever, you have to pay that off very quickly, because once the audience hears that, their brain shuts off basically until that thing is paid off. Like a certain percentage of the audience is just like they stop paying attention to what's happening in the scene, and all they're thinking of is like, when is the ejection coming? When is the phone call coming? It's like very distracting. And I've felt that as a viewer, just like sitting and watching. I think it's subconscious, but like we want the delay between sound effect happening and payoff for the sound effect to be as short as possible for that reason. So I don't know where, so that I think is why it's better to just do the ejection rather than write a poll, you know, like sound effect goes off, write a poll, vote on the poll, and then it's like I don't know. I think it would slow things down too much. Is this a cover of a BBNG song? I don't know what BBNG is. I'm being told that this song is called With You. Voting also doesn't make much sense with that format. Yeah, I mean, I think if I understand correctly, like the benefit of the vote is it's like it takes away the sort of like it takes away the ability for one person to just end a character that everyone else is liking, basically. I guess is the best way to articulate it. Like there are definitely situations, I mean, it happens, we feel it all the time in the cast when characters get killed. I mean, like pretty much any time a character gets killed, all of us within like the first 3 minutes of people coming out, we're usually like sad. I love being killed in my bits 99% of the time. Last night I was kind of bummed out because it happened right after we found a really fun game, but 99% of the time I'm just like, thank God I'm being edited by the chat here, because this bit doesn't have more than 3 or 4 minutes worth of good material, and once we get to the like 7-minute mark, I'm really gonna be scraping the bottom of the barrel. So to be ejected or killed or whatever is like typically a really nice out for me. I think where it gets dicier is when it's guests, because, you know, for us it's like we do 4 shows a week, so it's like whatever, I get killed, I'm gonna do 12 more characters this week, so it's not a big deal. For guests, some of them seem to really like it and like lean into it, and like what's great, it's great when they get killed and then that becomes a game and they're getting killed over and over again, and you can tell they're like getting a kick out of being killed off multiple times. I guess the issue is only like suddenly people who have way more disposable income have unilateral veto power. Yeah, I mean that is the problem, I feel like, where it's like one person in the chat who's just like, I'm done with this character, I don't want to watch this character anymore, can just be like, this character's over, even if 200 people are like, I'm liking what's happening now. But I think the solution to that is more just like bring the character back, you know, like we've become a lot more loose, except for with Jonks. Jonks feels pretty final. Like we typically, once a character dies in Jonks, but in Jonks it is more democratic because people can pay to save a character, and typically that does happen at least once. One guy ruining it all is a classic. Yeah, I mean that's kind of rideshare guys come back a bunch. Yeah, I think with the ejector seat, it's like much more ambiguous about whether or not they died, and oftentimes they don't. And I love doing the bit of guy who gets ejected and comes back more bruised and battered. Like that's something really fun for me. I've done that bit like a handful of times where my character will get ejected and I'll just bring him back like 20 minutes later, and he'll just have like a, you know, blood coming out of his eyes and nose and like a black eye or crutches or a neck brace or whatever. You know, like that to me is a fun callback. Did James's character Sibian get ejected? Oh yeah, he got ejected multiple times. Everybody got ejected last night. It was sometimes that's just how it goes. But yeah. Oh, we were talking about how much time we spend making the show. So Buddy Battle, we developed it in like an hour and a half, I would say, all told. The bones of it, we like came up with the premise, workshopped all the various interactive elements, and the like sub game, which was the dating profile thing, the like platonic dating profile thing, ballpark. And then over that next like 2 weeks, I go into the studio and I build it. So I create those sets with the, you know, the two shots, the host shot, the little like TV thing, the dais that they're, or desk thing that they're sitting behind. I program all the scoreboard shit to like show the answers and the questions and the buddy meter, and add the call-in the video feed inputs into the little TV heads and like all that shit. I make the bumper, I do and that stuff takes somewhere between, for buddy, I mean, it's different for every format. What, you know, it depends on what we're making, and how much stuff I can recycle, which is becoming more and more now that we've got this catalog of formats. I can borrow stuff from other formats a lot more often, where I'm like, oh, okay, I need the TV head guy. Well, I can take the TV head guys from Subjective Jeopardy or from, you know, Shark Tank, and just put them in here. And I can take the donation goal little thing, you know, the little graphic that says, you know, $5 for whatever. I can take that text, you know, from a Photoshop file and use it here. So I've become a lot more efficient with just sort of like recycling and reusing assets from other formats and just sort of tweaking them to make them work. But like Shark's Tank, thank you, Mokoi. But yeah, so it takes probably like Buddy Battle probably took like between 12 and 15 hours, I would say, spread over like 2.5 weeks. You know, I'll go in there for 3 hours and I'll just work on the host set, and then I'll go in there and I'll just work on the guest set, and then I'll go in and I'll just work on the interactive stuff. And then I gotta line up all the cameras and whatever. So that's like one of the things that happens behind the scenes. But there's a bunch of other stuff that's happening behind the scenes too. We've got casting, so that takes up a huge amount of time. The show has between 30 and 40 guests every month. So we have a calendar that has all the shows, all the days, you know, like every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and slots for guests. And then we talk about, well, who are the new people that we want to bring in, who are the people that have been on before that it's been a while, who are like regulars. We've got a huge contact sheet that basically just has a list of 200 people that have been on the show and their most recent appearance date, so that we can go in and see like, oh, well, it's been 2 months since we had Derek on, or it's been, you know, the Mr. Horsepower guys haven't been on since December, so we should try to get them in. It's not like a perfect science. Who does the casting? We all kind of do it. We have a Slack where we talk about it. So we're like, you know, we really want to get so-and-so on. We really want to get this person on. It's been a while since we got that person on. And then it's basically just like DMing them on Instagram. Like the casting process is pretty much just like we pick who we want, and then we message them on Instagram and we say, hey, like, we've got a show on the 27th. It's a Tuesday. Can you do that? And then if they say yes, then we write them in there and we put them in our little calendar so that we know not to double book that. And then if they say no, then we send them a different date. And if they say no too many times, then we say, we'll try to get you back on next month or something like that. Putting together a card 2 to 3 times a month is rough. I couldn't imagine doing it so many times a month. Yeah, I don't know. It's easy and it's hard. I mean, it's thankfully now we have so many great people to choose from. Like over the last, I would say, 10 months or so, our catalog of our contact sheet of comedians who have done the show or down to do the show has grown like 15x. Like there's like 150 people who, not that all 150 of them are going to be available every month to do the show, but a lot of them are. And the bigger problem we have than finding people to fill the slots is we have too many people that we really want to get on the show and not enough slots, where, you know, there's just so many people and only 30 slots in a month. So we have situations where it's like, oh, we got to push so-and-so to August because there's all these people that we want to get on in July. If somebody can't come in, do you find another person last minute? Yeah. That happens a lot. That's the other thing about doing a show that's like, you know, everybody's doing it pro bono. We don't pay our guests. We pay them in exposure. And and fruit snacks and chips and beer. And, you know, we have a little craft services thing in the studio, but truly these people are doing it out of just the good kindness of their heart and the love of the game. They're just, you know, there's just a scene in LA, thankfully. There's just this really healthy indie comedy scene where people just like performing and doing comedy. And obviously, as the show grows and we eventually start to make enough money to pay ourselves, we will start paying performers as well. But right now, it's just like, you know, everybody's just doing this for the love of the game. Speaking of beer, Voodoo Rangers return soon? Yes. We haven't technically signed the contract yet, but we have the terms. And they look good. So hopefully you'll be seeing Voodoo Ranger return in August. I think I can say that. I don't think there's any problem with me saying that. It's not official yet. If they don't return in August, you can probably say this stream somehow ruined it. But as the team lawyer, I feel comfortable saying that as of right now, we are looking for a return of Voodoo Ranger as the sponsor of the Everything Now show in August, which would be great. Because that was, I mean, I had a lot of fun with the Voodoo Ranger stuff. I mean, as far as like advertising on a creative show goes, they have been extremely, extremely cool about letting us do pretty much whatever we want with the product. And I think it pays off. I think you know, like based on the reaction that I've seen from our community to Voodoo Ranger and like everyone going out and buying Voodoo Ranger and talking about it, like, I think that's the way to advertise stuff. Like if you just let creative people do what they want and make fun of your thing a little bit, ironically, like the show, the people will get it. They don't have to be, you know, like pandered to or babied. Like they can understand it. For what it's worth, I literally the only reason I bought it and went to the Enforcers final was because of the sponsorship. There you go. That's exactly right. So that's proof of concept. So I mean, we gotta find some more of that. We gotta find like 5 more Voodoo Rangers basically, and then we can talk seriously about this becoming an actual full-time job. It is not really even close. You know, I won't get too far into the specifics of the financials of the show, but I can comfortably say that we are not close right now to this being a full-time job because there's so many of us. You know, it's not like a normal Twitch streamer where it's a one, you know, all of the profit goes to one guy. We're splitting everything 5 ways. So you need 5 times as much money to survive. But whatever. Everything's trending in the right direction. So hopefully, you know, sponsors beget sponsors, viewers beget viewers, and you know, everything keeps trending in the right direction. Companies should want to put ads on Everything Now show. No one wants to watch an ad, but having it worked into a bit is great. That's the idea, and hopefully, I mean, that's sort of how our agent has been pitching it. You know, humble brag, we got an agent who's been very cool and is the one who secured us the Voodoo Ranger thing. And I think using Voodoo Ranger as an example will help to hopefully secure a couple more of these sponsors. Like if we can show them such successfulness. I know, thank you. I was just about to ask if you guys reached out to Mythic Talent Management. I don't know. We have not reached out to them. I'm not familiar with Mythic Talent Management. But they sound cool. I don't know anything about that. Are they related to the good mythical morning people? But yeah, so casting. So that's casting. Casting takes up a lot of time. It's a lot of just like messaging people. And then it's a puzzle. Every month it's a puzzle of just like, because not only are we trying to fill slots, we're also trying to like chemistry match our guests, because all of our shows typically have at least usually 2 guests, sometimes 1. usually not more than 3, but I would say like between 2 and 3 is kind of the average. And so we want to make sure that those 2 people in a perfect world have performed together. If they haven't performed together, at least know each other. If they don't know each other, at least we'll get along. That is sort of like the tier list of like how we try to pair our guests. So that's one element of the puzzle. And then the other element of the puzzle is format matching, where we have, 20 formats, and we have to be like, all right, well, who are people who would really do well with Oops All Rise? Who are people who would really do well with Rideshare? And then who's done what already? Because sometimes we're like, well, so-and-so's already done Rideshare twice, like, and they've never done call center. So like, let's give them call center this time so that they can try something new. So that makes it challenging. So you're managing like 3. Do you keep a massive spreadsheet? Yeah, literally we have multiple massive spreadsheets. We have a casting spreadsheet, we've got a format spreadsheet, we've got a contact sheet spreadsheet, we've got a finances spreadsheet. We are buried under fucking Google Sheets. We've got the favorite chatters board, right? The constantly updated power ranking of favorite chatters. No, that's the Slack. There's no spreadsheet for that. That's just the random chat channel in the Slack where we talk about you guys. Corn44 TV, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Creative Steve is a favorite. I have no shame in saying that. Creative Steve is definitely near the top of the list. Creative Steve is definitely near the top of a favorite chatter list. We love you, Steve. I don't want to talk about anything else regarding this. But I forget what we're talking about. Oh, just the other things that we're doing behind the scenes. So we're doing that. We're doing, our production meetings are weekly, and the things that we talk about are all different kinds of things. We talk about, recently we've been going through all of our formats and just kind of like trying to revisit them from like a more sort of philosophical, technical level of just like what makes these formats funny? What are the things that like make the guest characters good or bad? Like how can we better inform our guests so that they, like set them up for success on the show? Because it's such a fucking weird show as a guest to wander into. If you don't know us, if you've never seen the show, which a lot of these guests are, they're meeting us for the first time, they're doing the show for the first time, they walk into a garage with a bunch of strangers. Half the room is green, the other half is covered in wigs and props and costumes, and there's a giant TV with the wall of chatters saying random bullshit. Like it's very intimidating. How do guests work? How do you prepare them for the show? Typically, we will give them a sort of like log line of the format. So we'll be like, you're going to be doing the rideshare format. It is an Uber where you are playing a passenger who is riding in an Uber and making small talk with the driver. So that's sort of like, we will send them that as the sort of like broad strokes premise of the format. And then typically we'll also send a link to a VOD from that format, which 90% of them don't watch. But sometimes they do. I shouldn't say 90%. I would say about 50% of them don't watch it. I would say about 80% of them say they watch it. And 30% of those people, it becomes very clear that they did not actually watch it within like 3 minutes of our interaction, because we start talking about the various interactive stuff and you can just see their eyes kind of like glazing over or widening, trying to like pay attention to everything. But we used to like send the whole breakdown of the format in one long DM where it's like, it's rideshare and there's gas station TV and they can eject you and there are these billboards and also there's the driver reviews and you know, and there's fuck my car, and like we would just like give them the entire thing in a message, and we found that was too much. Like their brains can't handle all of that. So what we do instead now is we just say like, it's rideshare, it's an Uber, you're a weird guy in an Uber. Show up a half hour early before the stream starts, and we will explain everything else to you. And then they usually arrive late, and we don't have time to do that. And then we very sort of like panically go, okay, so it's rideshare, and like there's the gas station TV and blah blah blah, and one of us will go first, so you'll get to see it. So like you won't have to do anything first. Chris will go first, so you'll see that, and then Rocky will do the gas station TV thing, and just like it'll all make sense when we do it. Like it's a lot of that. Sometimes they arrive on time and it's so chill, and we can just be like, because once we go live 10 minutes before the show starts, we can't run them through the format really. Like if they show up a half hour before, we can, while we're not live, basically show them everything. Like we can actually sit them on the green screen and show them what it's going to look like. Once we go live, we can't like preview what it will look like for them. Just the way vMix works. So we have to just sort of like verbally explain it, which doesn't work as well. We make a ton of effort and the guests don't give a shit, basically. No, the guests, we are so fortunate that these guests are even showing up to give us 2 hours of their night for free. Like that is them giving a shit. The fact that they're willing to just like come over on a Tuesday night from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And do comedy improv, typically with people they've never met before or like barely know, for free is you know, like we'll take what we can get. But there are certainly some guests who are even more I would say go above and beyond and like watch the show beforehand, are fans of the show, know what they're supposed to do, and those episodes are better. Like you like, I think he's talking about me. What is that? Who is that? It's two puppets. It's probably Matt. I'm still recovering from the trauma of Chained Together, but I think I'm ready for another go on Sunday. I'm trying to play with the Everything Now boys sometime between now and then to get some more practice in. But if you're down, if you're willing to carry me literally, if you're willing to literally carry me again in that game on Sunday, I would love to play again with you and Chris. That was really fun. But yeah, let me shout out Two Puppets, folks. If you don't already, folks, you gotta follow Two Puppets. Go give them a follow right now for some excellent indie gaming, co-op gaming, hanging out. I'm down to give it another go. I keep getting TikTok lives of people playing it, and I gotta say we are not even close. I know, I've seen some too, and it makes me like I can't even watch them because it makes me feel so bad. What recent format was Chained Together? Chained Together is a video game. And we play that on the Hangout channel on Sunday. I think the VOD should still be up. VODs on this channel get deleted after like a week, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get this channel partnered someday, and then VODs will live here longer. But for right now, I think they only last like a week. So if you want to watch me and the Two Puppets eat shit for 4 hours at a video game called Chained Together, go watch it now. Yes, we were not physically chained together. Our video game characters were physically chained together. We were not physically chained together. We were chained together digitally through the power of the internet. But no. You can just connect an Amazon Prime account to extend the VOD save. Oh, thanks, Everything Now show. I'm going to guess this is Allsup talking to me. That feels like Allsup knowledge. We should do that. Why have we not done that? I have Amazon Prime. I used it today to buy some food from Whole Foods. What were we talking about? Oh, the guests. So yeah, if a guest is a top tier guest, they will show. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because there's two types of top tier guests. There's a top tier new guest, who is the guest who shows up. They've watched the video that we sent them. In a perfect world, they've seen multiple Everything Now show episodes, and they like Jack Brown. Shouts out Jack Brown. Jack Brown came into the show was already a fan of the show, had like watched multiple episodes, fully got it, and I mean, Jack is also just like insanely funny and talented. So like he would have probably been good if he just wandered in having no idea what the fuck was happening. But he was even better because he knew the show. He knew our sensibilities. He got the interactive stuff. Like, he just got it. And so he walked in and just knocked it out of the park. Which format was that? Jack's done a couple different formats. If you go just like onto our YouTube channel and search Jack Brown, you'll find some of his episodes. What guest do you feel was the most out of control? Where you felt like you were totally not in control? The episode that comes to mind for me is, and it's not in a bad way, it was in a great, I mean, Luke is definitely, but like when Jessie Morner-Ritt did her episode of Help Wanted, it's an all-timer. It's so good, but she like totally deconstructed that episode. You should search on YouTube, the main YouTube channel, not the VOD channel. This was before we switched it over. But if you go watch the Jessie Morner-Ritt episode of her on Help Wanted, that's like one of my favorite episodes, certainly of that format, maybe of the entire show. But she just like totally breaks the sort of like guest character mold. Yeah, Izzy's on that. Izzy is in that episode too. Ron destroying the fourth wall and Rideshare was great. I mean, yeah, there's ways that the guests will break the show in good ways, and then there's ways that the guests will, I feel like, just like not understand what's happening. And I always say, like, there haven't really been any people on the show, or at least very, very few, like single digit guests on the show that have just not been funny, where we're just like, that's not a funny person. But there are a lot of people who have been on the show who are very funny people, but are not the type of funny that necessarily works on this show. And I think that's the show's problem. You know, like there are people who are really good at improv who would not do well at stand-up, and and vice versa. And our show is just like such a weird like hybrid of multiple different types of comedy. It's really its own thing. Like, it's really a very weird show. And so some people come on and it's just a perfect storm of like, our show happens to totally lean into all of their strengths as performers, and they knock it out of the park. And then there's certain people who I'm like, I'll see them. I've had this happen a couple of times where like I will be introduced to a performer on our show, and they will come on our show, and I'll be like, that person was not that good at all. Like, why did we invite them? Like, they are not that funny at all. And then I will go see them live at some show in LA, and they will destroy, and I'll be like, oh my god, like, I get it now. Like, they just don't fit our show or our sensibilities. But like, you put them on stage and let them cook in their own, you know, in their element, and they are killers. Most people do incredibly well, though. I wouldn't see it as a problem. Yeah, and also like, people also have bad shows sometimes. Like, sometimes people are good at the show and they'll just have an off show. Like, we have off shows constantly. Like, I feel like 50% of the time I'm shitting the bed on the show, but I just get so many more at bats. And I feel like, first of all, the audience is way more warm to the Everything Now show cast because of the like parasocial element. So it's like, even when we're eating shit on the show, I feel like we've just got a way more forgiving audience in you guys, because there's that parasocial element where I feel like that safety net is not there for our guests as much. Parasocial elements, when did you introduce those? Oh yeah, that was a what do they call it when they update an app without telling you? It's like a ghost update or whatever. We did that. Yeah, we introduced that about a year ago. So we can be mean if it helps. No, that's fine. Thank you. People are plenty mean already. I just don't read the chat. Generally. I pretty much only read the chat when sometimes I read it when I'm engineering, and the only other time I read the chat is when I'm specifically soliciting something from the chat. I think that's a big problem that some of the other performers, without naming names, on our show have, is that they pay too much attention to the chat while performing, and it can fuck with your head. I always tell the guests, like, please do not feel any obligation to look at the chat during the show. Like, nothing good comes from watching the chat, unfortunately. I will look at the chat when I'm specifically soliciting something from the chat, when I have a question for the chat, when I'm trying to get ideas from the chat, when I need a suggestion from the chat. Like, that is when I will look at the chat. But when I'm just cooking and doing bits, the chat is very distracting. Even when it's not saying like weird, mean stuff about us, which is not that often. It's just like, it gets in your head. Like, doing improv is already takes so much attention to like be listening to what your scene partner is saying and trying to think of what you're gonna say next, and keep an ear out for sound alerts and the camera and do support moves and blah blah blah. There's just like, you're already juggling so many plates that like, to spend any of that mental bandwidth on like watching somebody say that like your wig is on backwards, or like whatever the fuck you guys are talking about in the chat, excuses to ignore us. I regret shit I've said in the chat and how it's affected guests. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. It's like, first of all, there's the whole like internet aspect of it, where it's like, people feel totally fine saying insane shit to people on the internet because they don't feel real. It's like the guy in the TV. It's like, you know, people just in general feel more comfortable saying shit to people on their computer than they would to a person in real life. And then you compound that with the fact that these people are playing characters. So there's another layer of like, this isn't a real person. This is a fucking psychopath who wandered in this Uber or wandered in this courtroom. And and so people feel totally comfortable saying insane shit. And the most frequent stuff that people say that bothers us and like is not cool is the stuff that's like about physical appearance, because that is like not, I mean, if it's one thing if it's like that person's wearing milk, then it's like, yeah, no shit, like that's fine to make fun of. The milk is the bit. But when people are talking about people's like actual hair or size or like things that are just like not the character, the actor, the human person who is for free sitting in a hot garage entertaining you for 2 hours, and you're just like making fun of the way that they actually look, that sucks. That is not cool. So yes, that is why we added the be cool thing. And like, again, this is so not the norm. I would say 99.9% of chat messages are totally fine, and I would say 80% of the messages that aren't fine we're probably not even seeing because we're paying attention to each other. But when it does happen, and it's happened before, that somebody in the chat says something fucked up about one of us or about the performers, like, not only does it suck for us, but like it makes the show worse, because then that person is in their head and they're like not focused on being a funny character anymore. They're like, oh fuck, like, am I ugly? Am I like, do I look weird? Did I say something so I guess, yeah, PSA, think about that kind of stuff when you're typing messages in the chat. The only guest I feel comfortable fucking with was Tom Walker. I mean, yeah, if you have a relationship with a guest and they know who you are and they understand you have some sort of rapport and are doing bits with them, like, I think that's fine. But also, like, sometimes we don't know about that. Like, when people are like bullying Tom, it's hard for us to know, like, is this a guy who is this a chatter who he interacts with all the time and this is like a fun part of their rapport, or is this just like a weirdo who's saying weird shit to our guest who we've invited into our home essentially to do bits? So that gets weird. I don't know. Anyone who makes fun of a real person's appearance deserves a boot. Not gonna lie, that's fucked. Yeah, I agree. Okay to comment on main cast mustaches, I hope. I can't speak to that because I don't have one. I mean, my blanket statement is don't make comments about anybody's physical appearance. When in doubt, keep it to yourself. That would be my overall suggestion is why don't I have a mustache? Because I can't grow one. Otherwise I would have nice facial hair that disguises my lack of jawline. I've been looking into ways that I can figure out how to grow facial hair. There does not seem to be an option besides like go back in time and have a different dad. I really wish I could grow facial hair because the visage, it really, the profile look with the lack of jaw, really, if I could just get some hair and sort of like artificially create a jawline, that would be clutch. But instead I just have to look dead ahead all the time so that nobody sees that I look like a fucking Bob's Burgers character, basically. That I look like fucking Jimmy Pesto. You will look young forever. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to always, that's the benefit. I got the hairline though. Thankfully, this is looking good so far. Doesn't really seem to be, we got like a little bit of, you know, maybe some slight creep here, but feeling good about the hair. As long as you can still dance. That's right. I'm definitely the dancer of the Everything Now show. I bet the other boys could dance if they really put their minds to it, and I'm not even a good dancer. I'm just like willing to dance, which is half the battle with dancing as far as I'm concerned. Is that me? Is that emote me? Did we make that an emote? Oh my god. I didn't know we did that. Who added that? Chris? Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for gigantifying it, Go Gadget. I was not aware we had that. I've seen that in the chat and I was like, oh, that's a fun emote. It's so small. This is from my guy in Party Quest, probably. That's usually when I do my dancing. That's a good emote. Do you use a voice mod for Jonks? No, that's au natural. That's, hey, it's me, Jonks. You'll notice that when I do Jonks, he starts like this at the beginning of the episode. And then by the end of the episode, it just is pretty much my normal voice. And I'm maybe talking kind of like this. I've deepened it a little bit, but it's way less. It doesn't really sound like this anymore. And that is because it is tiring and I stop thinking about that. But if you start to go watch a VOD and go to like the 3-minute mark and then skip ahead directly to the like hour and 50-minute mark, and you will hear a distinct difference in the Jonk voice. What are y'all talking about during these ads? Someone tell Naked Comedy that we're talking about the Jonks voice. Jonks is probably my favorite format. Jonks is a great format. Jonks and Rideshare to me are two of our best ones, and I think if I had to think about like what makes both of those formats so good, it's really it's like the freedom that the guest has. Oops All Rise. See, that's the opposite, but also is a great format that I love. So like every time I think I have a theory of like what makes a good format, there's another format that totally flies in the face of it. Like Oops All Rise, or not Oops All Rise, Rideshare and Jonks, like as a guest character, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a guest character on Jonks because I've never done it, but from what I understand, from the way that the conversations I've had with people about being a guest on Jonks, and from what I know from being a guest character on Rideshare, you can really come in with anything. Like you really are so free to make your bit about anything. There's like such loose I mean, obviously in Jonks you need a wish. In Rideshare you need a destination, kind of. Although you don't even need a destination, really. Like what my character last night in Rideshare, the guy who came in with the face mask, I didn't even come up with where I wanted to go. It wasn't important. I just said I was just like, the address is in the app, and I think Chris labeled it like it's a residence. But it's like so not important. And so it gives you a ton of space to work with. And I think Jonks similarly, like, obviously you need to have a wish, but beyond that, like you have so much freedom to build a bit. So I think, you know, our best guests really cook in those formats because they have so much latitude to explore. Half the guests don't even have a wish for Jonks. That I don't like. We actually just talked about this in our most recent production meeting when we were getting into the sort of like nitty gritty of what makes Jonks good. I do think it's important to have a wish with Jonks. I think like what those scenes tend to struggle the most when somebody comes up and they have accidentally stumbled upon Jonks and they don't understand why they're there, because then the scene sort of becomes aimless and it's like it becomes a conversation about like, well, I'm explaining to you the concept of what Jonks is, and then they're coming up with some like weird low stakes wish, you know, like ask Jonks to have all the guests have a wish. I agree. Sometimes it feels weird and too long of nothing. Yeah, I think the best Grant has a bit that he does for Jonks all the time. I mean, like a structure for his wish that I think really works, where he comes on and his character has some sort of desire, like world peace or end famine across the world, and then the wish is some convoluted thing that sort of like butterfly effect would be the solution, but it's ridiculous. You know, like that is to me a great structure, and they don't all have to be like that, but I feel like having a very specific wish and having a very specific desire, and sometimes those things don't even match up, but like ideally your character has both of those. Sometimes the desire is the wish and it's just very straightforward, but like sometimes it's like the character's desire is to no longer be lonely and their wish is like something unrelated, but like it becomes revealed sort of over the course of the scene that is what they desire. Chris's Indiana Jones character, yeah, who's constantly coming and wishing for dick medicine. Why can't Jonks grant himself wishes? I don't know. That's just, you know, it's genie rules. I remember very, very early Grant Day when he wished that Michael Jackson actually molested the kids because he lost a bet in like 2009. Yeah, exactly. Like that is a prototypical Grant Jonks character, and they're always good because the best games of Jonks, like some of the most fun Jonks, in my opinion, scenes are when a character comes in, they have a very clear want, and they wish for something super stupid. And then the scene becomes like Jonks trying to like help them logically arrive at either a better wish or understand why they're wishing for that thing. And it like grounds. Something else that we talked about recently at one of these meetings is that Grimace gooning scene. I don't know how many of you guys were there for that, but this was not Jonks. This was Help Wanted, an episode of Help Wanted. Alex was playing Mr. Diamond, the boss or the hiring manager, and Chris came in. I don't even remember what Chris's character was. It wasn't that important to the scene because the game ended up becoming that the suggestion from the audience for what the job was Grimace Gooner. Which all of us roll our eyes when that kind of shit happens and is suggested. Like, we typically try to avoid we'll take absurd suggestions, but the like really blue ones, blue is the comedy term for like potty humor, basically, like gooning, and like we like will make, obviously we do potty humor like on the show all the time, but for suggestions I think we try to typically lean away from blue suggestions, just because it like already starts the base of the scene so high in terms of absurdity. It's low hanging fruit. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty low fruit. Grimace gooning got a good. I mean, look, it was funny, and but what I'm saying is, or what we talked about a lot. We talked about that scene a lot, and I think what made excuse me, what made the Grimace gooning scene work is obviously the central premise was so ridiculous and absurd that the game became taking it, like if absurdity is up here and grounded reality is down here, it became like grabbing onto this absurd thing and pulling it down into a grounded reality, by like spending a ton of time talking about just the logistics of the job and playing it totally straight, like getting into like, oh, you got to take a bus to get there, and like he's not going to want to talk to you and he's not going to want to look at you, and you like which format was this? It was in Help Wanted. The premise was guy is hiring for a job, and the job is guy who jerks off Grimace, basically the cartoon purple monster from McDonald's. That is the central premise, and then the way we play it is like accept that absurd reality as our base reality and act like it's totally normal, and then dig into the logic of like how that job would actually work, and like don't make the funny part just saying like gooning all the time and talking about his dick all the time. Like, the funny part is two guys who are like totally playing at the top of their intelligence, seriously talking about the minutia and the like bureaucracy of like, well, there's other people who are going to work in your office. It's sort of like an open floor, it's like an open plan floor space where there aren't really cubicles. Everyone's just kind of like working at desks. And it's like the backdrop of this absurd, disgusting reality is just sort of like looming as we talk about all the minutia of just like office life, basically. And I think that premise, or like that sort of like comedic technique, can be extrapolated to a lot of Everything Now show scenes where they start very ridiculous. Like somebody comes out and they're like, I'm Milk. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about the reality of being Milk. Like, let's get into like, do you have to live in a refrigerator? Like, if you spend too much time outside, do you start to spoil? Like, what is it? Do you have human relationships? Are your friends and family also dairy products, or are you just like one milk person who is adopted by humans? Like getting into the nitty gritty. On Jonks, you/chat often recommend more straightforward wishes, but the game is that they should say no to switching, right? Seems like it's never a good bitch to switch significantly. I think you kind of need to find a balance. Like, you don't want somebody to just like negate and be like no, because then it becomes an argument scene, which isn't really fun to watch, where it's just like, there's only so much like nuh-uh, yeah, huh, back and forth that you can do before people are like, all right, this scene isn't progressing at all. So you need a little bit of pushback. You need like, in a perfect world, you're both kind of conceding a little bit here and there and building something together as you do, and discovering new details and ideas about the scene as it goes. Like, you can't both dig your heels in and refuse to concede anything, because then the scene can't progress. It's just one person saying yes and another person saying no. So both characters need to concede, or at least one character needs to concede a little bit in order for the scene to progress. And it then is just about like doing that, like finding what the pacing of that is so that it doesn't happen too quickly and you burn your entire, you blow your whole load immediately. And that's the technique of improv. That's that's what's hard or easy in a scene. Or that's what's hard in a scene. It's never easy. That's the hard part of a good improv scene is pacing a lot of the time and finding out these funny little nuggets along the way. Edging the scene, exactly. I thought I missed a question. If I missed your question, if you had a question and I missed it, please type it again. I will try to come back to it. And if you have any other questions about the show, I guess this is now just like a Q&A stream. I had some other stuff, but I don't know. We don't really have to do any of it. There's nothing really. I had some like sketches to watch. I don't know, just some stuff that I think is funny. But I always like talking about the show. I could talk about the show endlessly, forever and ever. What else? What else takes? Are you gaming at all? I will be home in 45 or so. I'm not gaming right now. I could game. Who is this? Is this Rocky or Alsop? I could play some games. How hot is it in LA right now? Hot, but I'm running the AC because I got the kitties. And I can sweat and be uncomfortable. I'm not too bothered by that. I will just like, I have a fan also, so I can just like lay on my bed in my underwear and just like rot. But I feel bad subjecting the cats to, because they are perpetually in little fur coats. They can't help that. So I mean, I'll probably still be going for 45 minutes. You want to try Chain Together also? You and me, a two-man Chain Together? I've only tried it with 3 people so far, but I assume it works virtually the same way with 2 people. Or we could play something else. I've been playing the finals a little bit. It's a shooter. It's a free-to-play shooter. I'm down for whatever. Just hit me up when you get home and let me know what the vibes are like. But yeah, so I'm running the finals was super hot on Twitch for a minute or 2. Yeah, I just started trying it out like 2 days ago, and I'm bad at it. I'm bad at all shooters. But I had fun. I think I would have way more fun playing with people that I know, because it's like little 3-man teams. But what were we talking about? We were talking about the show. Oh, we were talking about the AC. Yeah, so I'm running the AC. So it's not cool and it's not like cold in here, but it's we did talk about the nicknames. Also, am I right that your frat brothers called you Soup in college? Because I don't remember why I started calling you that. I thought it was because I heard people in the audience during Improv Inc. shows saying that, and so I started calling you that ironically and then not ironically, and it just stuck. And I don't know if anybody else calls you Soup besides I know Chris calls you it sometimes and I call you it sometimes, but I don't know if there's anybody else in your life that calls you Soup or has ever called you Soup. But we're getting some Alsop lore. But yeah, it's fine. You got a Gus, sneaky Gus. You see him? You see? And then B is... I don't know where B is. Maybe under the bed. Sometimes she's under the bed. It's been a nickname since high school. Oh, okay. Interesting. Damn. Well, now, part of me feels like, okay, this is good. I didn't just like start calling you a thing that nobody else calls you, but then part of me is like, I wanted that to be the special nickname that only me and Chris have for you. Have there been any format ideas that have been cut? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I never like to say that like a format is like never coming back, because sometimes we'll just like rework a format later, but there's definitely formats. There's some formats that we've only done one time. So I guess those have been cut. Like we try them. format ideas that have been cut. I mean, we pitch stuff sometimes and then it just nothing ever happens with it, but not because we were like, that's a bad idea. It's usually just because it's like, you know, we prioritize certain things, certain formats based on like what the show needs. Like right now, Barley's Bar confirmed return. We've been talking about Barley's Bar a lot recently, mainly just from like a philosophical like comparison level of like what is, you know, these are all just like points of reference. Yeah, I don't know. Barley's Bar, I have such mixed feelings. Sometimes I think about bringing it back and then I'm like, then I remember what it was like to do it, and I'm like, maybe not. I got really excited about this idea that Chris kind of had an idea for it, and then Rocky also kind of had like, we all sort of built this thing sort of independently and kind of together. But the way that I envisioned it most recently, a couple days ago, like when it clicked in my head of like what a fun one would be, is like a bus stop format where it takes place at a static shot of a bus stop. Like you see the bench and people are sitting there and buses are coming by that block the full frame occasionally. And there'll be like, let's say 4 colors of buses, a red, a blue, a yellow, a green. And those are triggered by sound alerts or subs or donations or whatever. Maybe one for each or whatever, or maybe it's 4 sound alerts. I don't know. But kind of like how Hold for Train works in auditions, where it like comes across and blocks the entire screen. And then while the bus is blocking the screen, it sits there for like 3 seconds. And then people come on or get off the bus. And then there's new people at the bus stop. And we're just sitting there watching these people interact, kind of in the same way that in rideshare, people are just kind of like making small talk. We see these people interacting, but it'll be like 2 people. Let's say it's like, you know, person A and person B are sitting at the bus stop at the beginning of the episode, and they're just kind of like chatting, and then someone triggers blue bus, and the blue bus comes in, and all of a sudden person B is gone when the blue bus drives away. Person A is still there, and now person C and D have sat down or are there, and then they get to start talking, and then someone triggers it. So no host. It's just, we're just seeing different people interacting at this bus stop, but because there's different colored buses, you can have people staying for multiple buses if they need to. You could be like, I'm waiting for the green bus, or I'm waiting for the red bus. So you're not having to get rid of every character there for every single format or for every single bus. People can kind of come and go as it makes sense. I mean, the risk, which is the issue that we ran into with Barley's, in my opinion, is that it's too aimless, that there's no sort of like impetus for conversation to happen, and so it can feel aimless. But rideshare is sort of that way, in that there's no real reason that a person who's sitting in a rideshare car needs to talk to the driver, but they all just kind of have something to say. The other potential issue is that because there's no host, it doesn't immediately become clear who the straight man is, or whether there is one. Whereas rideshare, even though there's not really any reason for them to talk to each other, they do. And Chris can always be the voice of reason, which I think is important to a certain extent, because you always know the passenger is going to be some weird freak, and you kind of need the Chris character to be like, you're a weird freak, and like get mad or confused or scared or annoyed or whatever. So figuring out sort of organically, but it doesn't mean that person won't exist in the bus stop format. It's just like, you need to be a little bit more we would need more, I think, experienced improvisers who can organically like take on those roles and like play them as needed. And chat can be mean and never let the bus come. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's a subway, not a bus, and you can have the ticket person be that. Yeah, but not like, I don't know, like a ticket person doesn't really just stand there and talk to people though, you know, like that, you know, like the way that the host characters work in most of our formats is it's like that person is sort of like forced to be in that position and talk to these people. You know, like the rideshare person is like locked in this car with this person essentially. The judge is like forced to hear this trial. The job interview guy is like forced to conduct this job interview. Like their purpose in life is to talk to this person, whereas like the ticket taker, their job is the opposite, kind of. It's to like spend as little time with this person as possible so that they can go on and do the tickets with everybody else. Unless it's like a kiosk and they're just sort of there chatting with whoever's there. I feel like if that's a format, you could get like 4 or 5 characters out of that. Yeah, I think, how about an army or military recruiter? That's a fun sort of like, almost like kind of a reskin of job interviews of Help Wanted. It's like a military themed Help Wanted, which is kind of funny. I don't know. I don't know enough about the military to be like figure out what the host character would do for that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of meat there. Some spin-offs, yeah. That's what I meant. It's a kiosk kind of thing, like they're trapped there because it's their 9 to 5. Yeah. I feel like someone introducing themselves is a big part of why rideshare works so well off the jump. It's an icebreaker. Yeah, that's true. But like, you don't have to talk to your Uber driver really ever. Like they choose to. Like I will say like for Jake when I get an Uber, and then 90% of the time I don't talk to my Uber driver. Sometimes I will if I want to have a conversation or if something interesting is happening, but the vast majority of the time I will just sit there in silence. But obviously for an interesting improv scene, you want the people to talk to each other. And I think similarly in real life, most people don't talk to the other people at the bus stop, but you could. Since when is anyone realistic on the show? No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. What do you think about coming up with another format like Video Store, where there are like 4 or 5 mini formats within a frame? Yeah, I think those are great. Voro donated $10. What? Did that actually happen, or did you just type donated $10? I don't even know where you could donate $10. Thanks for the message, Vorvo. I got punked. I got absolutely rocked. I got pranked, bro. It's just a prank, bro. Yeah, we have talked about other mini game type formats. Rocky for a really long time has been pitching a like arcade format, which is basically just like oops all mini games or like oops all sub games, where it's all just very quick, short, like the B and sub games that we typically do that are much more rapid fire and stuff, and maybe they're video game themed. I don't know. It's a great idea, and I think the only reason that we haven't done it is because it will be a lot of work, and other needs keep coming up in terms of like what a format will accomplish. But I think it's a great idea. We would just need to sit down and figure out what all the games are going to be. Like I think some things could be appropriated from other formats. Like we could very easily just take Shooting Gallery from Oops All Rise and either throw it in as is, or reskin it to be more like a Time Crisis analog or something. It's like that. It would be very easy to just like reskin it to make it feel like more video gamey and less like a Shooting Gallery. But yeah, that would be wild. Do it twice a year even. Yeah, I think if we did it, we would want it. That's the other thing, is it's like all of these formats, when we are building them, I think they need to have longevity and be able to be be redone over and over again without getting boring and without basically without getting boring, because it takes 15 hours to make a format. Some of them take longer. Party Quest took like 40 hours, like 40 man hours to build, and so it's like, I don't want to spend 40 hours building a format that we're going to use once a year or twice a year. You know, like when I'm building these formats, sometimes they are just bad. Like sometimes we do it, I build a whole format and we're all just like, well, that didn't work, and then we're like, all right, well, we tried it. But like the goal is always like, this should be ideally something that goes into the rotation, so that's like we're getting the most sort of return on the time investment that it takes to make one of these things. So our best formats like rideshare and call center and jonks and whatever, those are, you could do those infinitely, you know, like they're as long as there's new guest characters to be, those shows are going to work. How do you pick which format you'll use for a show? There's a couple different variables. Some of it's the guests that we have available. Like we'll look to see who we've booked for that date and be like, who, you know, because certain formats work better with more guests, certain formats work better with less guests. Like Talk Fight, for example, like that format works best when we have lots of guests, because there's 2 on the screen at any given time and they can be ejected, so they're rotating through really fast. So it's like, it just helps to have more bodies in the room for a format like that. Whereas a format like, for example, auditions typically benefits from having a smaller cast of like only maybe 1 or 2 guests, because each guest segment is much longer. Like a guest segment in auditions can sometimes go for like 35-40 minutes, and so we don't want to have 3 guests, because that means that like that usually means one of us, the cast members, won't get to play. Sometimes 2 of us won't get to play, because we always want to make sure, we never want to invite a guest and then they don't get to perform. Obviously they like come for 2 hours. We want to make sure that they are getting their time on stage or on the show. So it's better to undercast a format like that, and then worst case scenario, the guest gets to go twice. So that is one of the factors that contributes to what format we do. And then also it's just sort of like where that format lands in the rotation. Like we try not to do the same format too often, or at least too close to each other. Sometimes we do them almost back to back, but it's rare. You know, like if we did call center yesterday, then we'll try to be like, all right, well, let's do like 4 or 5 other formats before we do another call center, so that it's fresh. You know, like we don't want to burn out the audience and we don't want to burn out ourselves on these formats. So we try to do our best to space them out roughly equally, but like obviously sometimes that doesn't happen for other various reasons. But usually we'll have our formats picked like almost a month in advance, or like 3 or 4 weeks in advance, and then most of those will stay locked, but then guests will drop out or whatever will happen, and we'll have to change it, you know, the night before sometimes. It's not that big a deal. Ads. I see a question from Keith, but I'll wait until the ads are over. So someone tell me when the ads are. Well, I guess you can't tell me when the ads are over. Did you not fix the ads yet? I don't know what's wrong with them. I think I have it at the setting that has the least amount of ads, but maybe not. I just tried to make it so that it doesn't play pre-rolls, which is maybe not what we want. Maybe we want pre-rolls if it doesn't play ads in the middle. I don't fully know. Sorry. Sorry that you have to watch. I don't know. How often are they? I think they're like every 30 minutes you have to watch 90 seconds. I guess that's pretty annoying. I think they're running more ads to push Nitro. That could be. I think you picked the most money option, rather. Well, if I did, it's not working. We do not make... In order to make like a lot of money on ads, I mean, like Twitch is not designed for the Everything Now show. Twitch is not designed for streams that are 2 hours long. Twitch is designed for streams that are 6 hours long, 5 days a week. They're designed for people who are sitting there and playing video games all day. They're not designed... Twitch's monetization is not designed for a 2-hour improv show that streams 4 times a week. We have sort of gamed the system with all of our sort of like paid interactive stuff. But yeah. Are the ads over? Back now. Steve's back. Keith was asking, with new guests, how do we prep them? I talked about this a little bit already earlier in the stream, but essentially we just tell them the premise of the episode. So if it's rideshare, we say it's an Uber and you are a passenger. You're a weird passenger in an Uber. We just give them a very basic, 1 to 3 sentence log line. And then when they get to the studio, if they're on time, which is an hour before the stream start, or not an hour before the stream starts, a half hour before the stream starts, that's their call time. Their call time is a half hour before we go live, or a half hour before the show starts, so 20 minutes before we go live. When they arrive, we walk them through the whole format. So we just like go scene by scene, basically. We say like, this is the A game. In the A game, you are a passenger in a rideshare. You can they can eject you, they can send you off a cliff, they can show a billboard, like we run them through all the interactive stuff. And more recently we've been saying, don't feel obligated to remember all this stuff. You don't have to memorize it. We will explain all of this stuff as it's happening. We just want you to be prepared for when it does happen, or at least have heard about it, so that you're not totally caught off guard. But because you see, like, we've become so desensitized to the complexity of the show, where it's like a format will have an A game, a B game, a sub game, 5 sound alerts, a sub reward, a donation reward, like all this shit. And to us, it's like, yeah, the sub game, the B game, like, of course, it's just like completely rote to us at this point. But a guest comes in and they're like, their eyes just glaze over as we're just like explaining all of this shit as if it is like totally normal in a comedy show. So more recently, we've been really just being like, your job is just to be a weird person in this scenario. You're a weird defendant. You're a weird job applicant. You're a weird ghost. You're a weird, like, your job is just to be this character. And all of this crazy stuff is going to be happening around you, but you don't have to worry about remembering any of that stuff, because us as the host characters or the sideline support will basically be narrating it as it happens. So we will say like, we're about to go off a cliff, or we're about to eject you, or, like all of this stuff will make sense while it's happening, but we just want to tell you about it now, so that when it does happen, you're not like, what's going on? And that, I think, makes them feel a lot more comfortable. It's really funny when they know less. Austin show was great. The website bit had me reeling. Yeah, it's sort of a double-edged sword. I mean, I definitely prefer when the guests know what is happening, because I feel like they are usually more comfortable then. Whereas when they feel on their back foot a little bit, I think sometimes that can make them more self-conscious and more in their head. But sometimes, I mean, like, yeah, like Austin was fun. But yeah, I would say more often than not, I prefer that the guest they don't have to have seen the show, but at least pays attention when we're explaining things, and like ideally watches, like skims through the episode that we send them, because we usually send them a VOD of the format they're going to be doing, so that they can kind of get a sense of what it looks like and how it plays. And the people who do their homework, I think, just sort of anecdotally tend to have better experiences and better performances on the show. what else do we do behind the scenes? That was the original impetus for this conversation. We were talking about just like, what is the other work that goes into the show? I mean, there's stuff like, Jake, when is figure drawing coming in? Oh, great question. I don't know. It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's not currently on our calendar for July, but we didn't do one this month, huh? So I don't know. The short answer is I don't know, but I would be down to do another one in July. We're still figuring out casting for July. Ricky, welcome in, Ricky. Ricky's first message is, do you guys not invite guests back if they can't initiate a grounded 3v scene calling back themes from the abstract ensemble opening? Yes. And in fact, we ban them on all socials if they do that, and we talk shit about them to the chat. No, I think if somebody even can decipher what that means, they're probably overqualified to be on the Everything Now show. Jake, I've been considering doing one year paralegal certificate program. Would you have any advice about that? Honestly, I would not have any advice about that. I don't know. All I can say is it's not gonna hurt. I mean, if that's the work that you want to do, I would say the certificate's gonna help. Yeah, talk to Sadville. Sadville, help site out. I don't have enough insight despite having gone to law school. Yeah, DM, yeah, get in the Discord. Another great reason to join the Discord. There's a wonderful community with the extremely diverse and smart and interesting and creative group of people who know all kinds of different shit. Jake's law school advice: start an interactive improv comedy show on Twitch. Yeah, that is what I would recommend. I feel much more comfortable waxing poetic and giving advice about improv than I do about anything regarding law or the law school, despite having just finished the latter. I'm trying to think of like other stuff that we do. Other stuff that we do for the show, because we are very busy. I mean, there's just like kind of random boring stuff, like we interact with our editor that cuts together like all of our YouTube videos and check in on that. We shop for stuff that we need. Like last night, our one of our costume racks just broke because it was a piece of shit, you know, like cheapest thing we could find on Amazon, and we were hanging probably 250 pounds worth of jackets and jumpsuits and a giant fur coat, and it just kind of toppled over and broke last night. So we have to go find a new one of those. Do you buy new props and costumes regularly or not? No, we almost have. I can't remember the last. Actually, that's not true. We almost never buy props or costumes. The only time in recent history that we've went out of our way to buy props or costumes was we bought specific stuff for the Pirate Software Party Quest episode because we wanted to do that bit where one of us was a ferret, and so we bought a ferret costume so that we could dress up as a ferret for that one specific bit. Because we were like, well, this will pay for itself, you know, in the money that we make from this one episode, so that's fine. But 99% of our costumes and props are donations from friends. Like all of our friends pretty much are other theater kids and comedians and sketch comedians and people who just like have all these insane props and costumes and stuff. And a lot of the time they will just like come over with a big box of shit from their house that they've been storing and not using and be like, do you want any of this? And it'll be like a pair of fairy wings and a weird jumpsuit and a stupid hat and a wig, and now we've gotten to the point where we're just like, we can't fit anything else. Like we are maxed out. Literally, our costume rack is literally crumbling, truly breaking under the weight of all of the costumes that we have, and there's no room on our shelves for props or hats or wigs. Like, it's a mess in there because we have so much shit, which is a nice problem to have. But what's the story behind the Ralph Johnson shirt? I don't know. I think I got that shirt from Alsop. I don't know where he got it, but I vaguely remember. I mean, like, I took it because I like just kind of wearing it in college. I'm pretty sure. I think it was in college. I don't actually remember. I think also probably thrifted it. That would be my guess. Do we accept donations? No. I mean, like, I don't have anything against donations, but we don't need the thing about like this show and the props and costumes is it's kind of like, it's not sketch where it's like we really need this costume because we wrote a sketch that specifically calls for this thing. So with improv, it's just kind of like we're just trying to get stuff that can kind of be used in a variety of different ways. Like the things that get used on the show are typically the most generic stuff, where it's like a safety vest or a sweater that makes you look like an old man, or a wig that makes you look like an old man, or crutches, or just like, you know, these sort of like kind of prototypical generic thing. The cop outfits is a great example. Yeah, like the baby glasses are great, Mjorn. Those are definitely a favorite of mine. Really, I like all of the glasses. You could do so much with like a wig and some weird glasses. Like your character, that can be a character. There's not that many props that are like can make or break a character. Like sometimes it'll be a little detail, like, you know, like a lot of the times when I play the one of the mechanics in Fuck My Car, I like to hold that fake wrench, that like big red heavy looking wrench, just because it's like it's not adding to the bit. It's not like funny that I have that wrench, but it's just like, you know, more sort of like verisimilitude of like, you know, it makes it feel like, oh, this guy's actually in a whatever mechanic's garage. I feel like the props we see in Party Quest don't get much use in other bits. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the times props can help a bit, but they're not gonna make a bit. Sometimes, I mean, that's not true all the time. Sometimes an entire bit can circle around a prop, but like most good characters can be done without a prop, and the prop is just sort of like an extra little bonus thing to make the character feel more lived in. Some characters use props a lot, like magician characters will like have pulling things out of their hats, or like I said, mechanic characters with the wrench, or musical characters will bring out the guitar. What if a character has a conjoined twin prop? That's actually a good bit. Damn, I never thought about that. That could be pretty good. I might use that. I always wondered if it's possible to revive ENTV. ENTV, I think we all got really burnt out on ENTV because we had to do it like 8 times in a row when we all had COVID. So that's partially the reason we haven't done it in a long time. The other reason we haven't done ENTV in a long time is because ENTV was specifically designed to be a format that we do without guests. Like it's intentionally designed to have no guests, and we already are in a situation where it's like we can't get as many guests on our show as we want, which sounds insane because we have between 30 and 40 guests in any given month. But we still every month are like, damn, like we couldn't get so-and-so on, like we couldn't get this person on who we really wanted, but there's just no slots available. And so to take an additional slot away to do ENTV, where we could have done a format that fits 3 guests, is just like, excuse me, it's just like so hard to justify that. The Court is my favorite. Yeah. Oops All Rise is really interesting from a technique or like structural perspective, because it's so the opposite of like a rideshare, which is another one of my favorite formats, in that it's so structured and you're so on guardrails kind of as the main guest character. Like you're told what your crime is, you're told what the evidence is that you submitted, there's witnesses who like label more information about you, like whereas in rideshare it's like truly a blank slate. You can add as much information about your character as you want. Oops All Rise is like kind of the opposite, where it's just like you come in ideally with nothing, you know, like, or very little. Like the people who really succeed, I feel like in Oops All Rise, are the ones who come in extremely open to having their character be shaped over the course of the scene, as opposed to coming in with a very sort of fully baked premise, because that premise is just going to get eviscerated by all the chaos of the interactive components of that format, where it's just like, if you come in with too much, it's going to be like a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, where it's like, now you've got this absurd crime. You've been labeled with all this weird shit from the evidence submissions. You've been labeled with weird shit from the witness. And all that stuff, if played right, is so funny. So if all guests cancel in a night cancel, you'll do ENTV, right? Yes. Although if all guests cancel, usually we just recast and find somebody else who can come last minute. If that doesn't happen, then usually we just say, let's scrap the episode. That hasn't happened in a long time. Could you get the camera set up for Oops at DSP? Can't think of any live 3cams you've had. Everything that we do on Everything Now shows one camera. Now, the only show that we've done basically in the last, I don't know, since like pretty much ever. I mean, we've done a couple years and years ago, we did some experimental job interview formats where we had a shitty webcam as a secondary cam, but everything you see on the Everything Now shows one camera that does not move, and it's all just placing that one camera input in different ways and slicing it up. Yes, exactly. We're just copying that same camera input and putting it in different places and reframing it. It's just one camera. The only time we've used two cameras is when we were at DSP for our most recent live show. We had a second camera for the airplane bit where we had all the like cast or all the audience members sitting in the plane. That was a secondary camera that was like pointed out towards the audience. But everything else on the Everything Now show is Oops All Rise, Help Wanted, Call Center, even though Call Center looks like two people, Auditions looks like two different people, you know, all that stuff. It's all one camera, and everybody's just standing next to each other facing that camera. So in the scenes where it looks like two people are standing across the room from each other, yeah, I mean, I will say Oops All Rise is very tight, and that is why on Oops All Rise you often see people getting into each other's shots, especially with the witness. Like when you watch Oops All Rise, almost every single time we cut to the witness shot, you will see like a sliver of the defendant's arm in their shot, just kind of like floating there. And that's because they are in reality probably like this far apart. You know, they're right next to each other because our stage is only, I don't know, like 13 feet wide or something like that. And we have to fit 3 people there with enough room to gesticulate a little bit. I have to sneeze.
Hey, shoot.
Thank you. Do you like that? You like that? Turn off the mic for the sneeze. Do people like that, or do people want to hear my sneeze? Is that actually? Are there some of you sickos who are actually like, man, you heard it? Wait, I thought I turned off my mic. Was it quiet at least? I turned the levels on my microphone down specifically so that you wouldn't be able to hear it. It sounded like a satisfying sneeze. It was. I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at sneezing. Like when I sneeze, it's like a orgasm for my face. It's like I really let it all out. Does that make interactions with people in front of you difficult? No, Corn, because the way we have it set up, I mean, like, I don't know, I can't speak for our guests. It's probably very weird for our guests, but the way we have it set up, in fact, some of our guests, it's funny. So the way we have it set up is the camera is directly in front of us, and then right behind the camera is a big, like, probably 40-inch TV screen that is displaying the camera feed, or it's displaying what the stream is seeing, basically. So you can see yourself in the fully, like graphics scene. So when I'm looking at the camera, immediately behind the camera I'm seeing myself sitting in the judge seat, or like standing in the ghost mirror or whatever. I can see what the stream is seeing. So the eye line is actually perfect, because if I'm looking at the camera, it actually looks like I'm looking at the person who's standing across from me, even though in reality they're standing like 3 feet next to me, which all of us on the show have now become totally used to, and it doesn't get the post nose or the post sneeze itchy nose. We're totally used to it, and it's like second nature to us. But a lot of the times you'll see in those formats, Oops All Rise and auditions mainly, because those are the two formats where it's set up as if we're standing across from each other when we're not in reality. You'll often see, especially first-time guests, doing this. Like when they're talking to the host character, they're like, like I'm innocent or whatever. They're like looking down and to the side, because in reality I'm sitting down. I'm lower than them, even though in the scene I'm sitting way up high on a judge's bench. In reality, I'm just in a chair right next to them. So they're looking down at me to their side, and I'm looking straight ahead. And so I have to, as best I can in character, be like, and just a reminder, I am standing directly across the room from you. Yeah, the urge to look next to you is hard to resist. Yeah, it definitely is. You should put you in a high chair. That's a good idea. But yeah, so for Oops All Rise, I'm sitting in a chair, and I have a tiny little desk with the Stream Deck. Now we have 2 Stream Decks. Humble brag, we've got 2 Stream Decks now. We have one regular Stream Deck, and we have one Stream Deck XL that has more buttons. But for Oops All Rise, I am on stage as the judge, and I have a Stream Deck there that I'm using to cut between the shots. So there's an engineer who's sitting at the streaming PC who could also be doing that, but typically the engineer who's sitting at the streaming PC is handling all the interactive stuff. So they are writing in the evidence and setting up typing in the name of the character in the case file thing, and typing in the name of the character for the witness Chiron, and queuing up the next image for the visual evidence thing on the TV. Like, they're doing all of that shit behind the scenes. And so to take some of the load off of them, I am doing, as the host, I am cutting between the 2 shots, the shot of me and the shot of the defendant standing across from me. And there's just a button. I actually have a bunch of buttons. I can show the TV, I can cut to the witness, I can do the different zooms. So I could do like a close-up on me, a medium shot on me, a wide shot on me, a close-up on the guest, a medium shot on the guest, a wide shot on the guest. And I'm just hitting those buttons when I want to change the camera shot, basically. So it's all just one computer, right? Yeah, one computer, one camera. Hospital emergency room reception is a good format idea. I like that. I've been playing around with the idea of a doctor kind of checkup thing. Yeah, it's just like, what are these interactions? You know, like, what is, like, can you pharmacist? Yeah, it's tough. Exchange interactions like that can be tricky because it's just like you have to come up with a reason to be there, you know? Like so many of these interactions are tough like to turn into formats because it's like a lot of the time in the real world you would just be like, I'm here to get this thing, and then the person would be like, here's the thing, and then you're like, thank you, I'm leaving now. And it's like you have to come up with some reason why these characters need to, not only why they have some motivation to talk to each other, but to continue this conversation for whatever, between 8 and 13 minutes ideally, which is like the length of an optimal character on Everything Now show, in my opinion. One PC is impressive. Most streamers need 2 computers for much less. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like, I mean, it feels like much more than what a streamer is doing because it's so complex in terms of the like creativity, I guess. But like a modern AAA game is probably more graphically taxing than a lot of what we're doing on Everything Now show. Like a lot of Everything Now show is just like a camera feed, a handful of PNGs, maybe an MP4 or 2. That's like if there's a part of the scene that is animated, but like, you know, I mean, these formats have a lot of assets, but most of the assets are just still images or audio files, you know, so it's really not that much. Then there's Sushi Dragon, who uses an entire server of PCs. Yeah, I mean, like, that is a graphically intensive show because Sushi Dragon has like hundreds of animated, everything is moving. There's, you know, it's just like big files, right? Like, it's just like, that's what it is. Like, most of our formats are like mostly still images. I would say like 75% of the assets, like a typical Everything Now show format probably has, I don't know, like 180 assets, which it's like audio, you know, sound effects and music and the camera inputs and the backgrounds and the bumpers and the, you know, like all that stuff. There's like 180 individual pieces of media, and like 70% of those are just still PNGs. They're just like backgrounds or foregrounds or frames or, you know, that kind of stuff, which is not that hard for a computer to process versus like Modern Warfare where it's like hundreds of thousands of like animations and all that shit. Can you merge a lot of those? Yeah, I mean, I try to be as efficient as possible when I'm building these things. So usually, I mean, typically when I'm building a set, I'm building it in Photoshop. I'm not building it in vMix of all the component parts. I like a typical Everything Now show set is comprised of like a background, the camera, it's layers, right? It's a lot like if you've ever worked with Laser Lady, thank you so much for the sub. Shouts out Laser Lady for the tier 1, 7 months on the Hangout channel. That's big. That's one of the oldest Hangout channel subscribers, I think. That's like an OG Hangout channeler. Look at that, folks. We're about to hit, I think we're gonna do this sub goal anyway when Alsop gets home. Maybe. Because I think we're gonna just play this game, even though that's the sub goal. So even though we're 7 away, we'll probably just still do it. I'm still figuring out how sub goals work on the Hangout channel. Anyway, so you can think of also should be pulling in soon. He said 45 minutes, and that was like 45 minutes ago. I don't know. You can think of Everything Now show sets or like visuals as a bunch of layers. So if you've ever worked with Photoshop, it will be very intuitive to you. If you've not worked with Photoshop, you can imagine it like stacks of. Have you ever worked with if you haven't worked with Photoshop, are you familiar with the like transparencies that teachers would use? Maybe teachers, I don't know how old you people are, but like when I was in elementary school, you had the transparencies. Remember that the teacher would put on the projector thing, and it was like, yes, and it was like transparent, but it had some like writing on it. So imagine it's layers of those on top of each other. If you don't know how Photoshop works, this is the best way I can describe it. It's like everything is just layering stuff on top of each other. So the back layer, the very furthest back most layer is the background. That's what I call it. It's just like, so in Jonks, that layer is the mountains and the clouds and stuff. Technically, it's the clouds. The clouds is an animated video file way in the background. Well, the top layer or the bottom layer, I don't know how you want to describe it. The furthest back is an animated, not animated, it's a video. It's just an MP4 file of clouds moving. So then there's that layer. Then layered on top of that is the mountains in the background. So you've got clouds behind the mountains. The clouds are moving, so it looks all cool and like shit's moving. I try to add some animated stuff in most of our formats so that the sets feel alive and like not just like, sometimes it's impossible to find a good one, or it's like a loop that's too short or like whatever. But most of the time I try to have at least a handful of animated things that are moving around and make the scenes feel more dynamic. So you've got the clouds, then you've got the mountains, then you've got Jonks himself, which is a character animator puppet. So I won't pretend to know how it works. Alsip is the one who built it, but it uses Adobe's character animator, which is just like an Adobe software product that lets you kind of just like, it's like Photoshop, except you can press buttons to make your little puppets do things. And so for Jonks, Jonks is basically just a Photoshop file that has a nutcracker mouth that moves up and down. That's the whole thing. And then also the foreground is built into the puppet. So all the like stone that's in the foreground is part of the Jonks layer, essentially. So then there's Jonks. Then on top of that layer, there's the camera feed. So that is how you see the performers walking out, and that is just what the camera's seeing, and they're on a green screen. So we key out the green, we get rid of the green, and now it looks like there's a performer standing on top of that stone sort of like foreground ledge in front of Jonks. If you can visualize, I should just pull up. Why am I doing this without? I can just pull up a photo. Hold on. And then I can actually show you guys what I'm talking about with a visual reference. Okay, stand by. Stand by. Let's see if this works. I actually don't even know if this is gonna work. Yeah, this is working. Although, I don't know if you can see my cursor though. I need you to be able to see my cursor. Is it not working because it's in full screen, do we think? Oh no, you can see my cursor. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about. For the phone booth, is the phone moved in with the animation? Because it's very impressive. Oh my god, the phone booth is like one of my proudest graphical achievements on the Everything Now show. It is so complicated. I don't even know if I could explain it right now without, like, that is like a whole 2-hour behind the scenes to talk about how that works. I'm so happy with how the phone booth turned out. The one downside of the phone booth is that we can't zoom in with the phone booth because of the way it's built, which is so convoluted. Yes, also the painting the car thing, Laser Lady, that was also that. All of Party Quest and the phone booth are like my 3 most proudest achievements on Everything Now show. But okay, so this is how you can envision the layers of this scene, for example. So you've got the clouds in the background. That's layer 1 at the very bottom. Then you've got all of this mountain, this mountain. So this is like me going into Photoshop, finding these mountains and meticulously like cutting out the background in Photoshop. So you can see it's got kind of these like weird sort of like, if you really look closely, like kind of rough edges. But it's got these, you know, So I'm just cutting out this mountain, and that's a layer. Then here's Jonks, and this is its own layer. And now you won't be able to unsee it probably, but this is all one layer. See how it like extends down here, and it's like kind of like a different color than all this stuff. Like this is all being brought in from Character Animator. We're just pumping it from Character Animator into vMix. So this is all one layer. That's the next layer. Actually, this is technically a layer too. This chat, which we've since gotten rid of. This why are you breaking my immersion? Yeah. They showed it on a TikTok recently. The phone itself is permanently right next to the guest at the top of the on top of a printer on top of a desk that Chick uses. Kind of, that's close. Jonks isn't real. Oh no, I'm sorry. Christian Gooner. Wow, what a username. Welcome in, Christian Gooner. So anyway, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 is this chat. You can tell because it goes behind Jonks's mountain here. Then this is a layer. Then camera feed, so that our performers can be standing on top of this like stone ledge here. And then this is a layer on top of that. This like fog, which is supposed to add more depth. Like all of this is to try to like add depth. You know, make it feel less flat and scale. And so like this fog, this like sort of like misty fog is a layer that will cover up the performers, occasionally cover up Jonks. So that's an example of that. I can show you kind of do the similar thing with some of our other formats, like could do like Oops All Rise. So this is 2 shots, right? So here you've got a bunch of different things here. You've got like the very background, the backest background is this wall, all of this, and the chair. The chair is part of that. The back of my chair is part of the background, and all of this stuff is background. And then this, so what I'll do a lot of the time to create an effect like this is that this is just a PNG that I find on Google. So I go on Google and I search courtroom or empty judge courtroom. You know, like I try to find images of rooms that don't have people in them. Otherwise I have to cut out the people, which is really tedious. So I'll find this blank image, and then I will separate or you use AI art like the door-to-door sales. Yeah, well that one that was very helpful. Adobe's AI tools are great. I really like Adobe's AI tools. They have gotten so good. Yeah, those are all generated with Adobe's AI, which, for the record, say what you will about generative AI, but all of Adobe's generative AI is trained on their stock media. So it's not like stealing artists' work. It's all being trained on stuff that they already own. So I have no moral qualms with using Adobe's generative AI. I also am just like, like for something like this where the AI is being used to generate some small non-focal point or non-creative element of a scene, like a background image or something. It's like, it's one thing if you're using generative art as a final product where you're just like typing in, make me a beautiful painting, and then you're like, and now it's done. Like that's one thing, versus generating some component of some much larger piece. And then again, there's the whole thing about where the training data is coming from, which like in a perfect world it's not being stolen. But yeah, as far as AI, generative AI stuff goes, and using AI creatively, I would say Adobe is pretty good. But no AI, no AI was used in the making of this format. So yeah, so this is just a photo that I stole. So yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It's like I will generate I will generate stuff using AI, and people are like, you're stealing art. And then it's like, all right, well, the alternative is I'm going on Google and just taking copyrighted images and like photoshopping out watermarks. Like, this is clearly a watermark. Look, you can see the watermark. I like edited out as much of it as I can, but like this line right here that goes up here too, like that is just a watermark. You know, it's guerrilla filmmaking, folks. This is what you have to do when you're just a, you know, lowly streamer. Watermark and call center. I don't even know where the watermark and call center is. Oh, is it on the phone, squiggly like phone cord that separates the scene? Yeah. Yeah, that drives me crazy. I could just go in and get rid of it, but I'm like, whatever, who cares? It's part of the charm. It's part of the scuffed charm. But yeah, so I go on Google, I find a high-res photo like this, and then I separate this foreground, this like bench, into its own separate layer and export both layers. So it's like background is this background here, and then camera feed so that I appear on top of the chair, and then I layer this part on top of that so I appear behind the bench and I look like I'm sitting there, and that's movie magic. And then this is its own thing where it's like I cut out the movie, or I cut out the TV screen. So this was just like a PNG again of a hanging TV that I just type like TV, ceiling mounted TV, and I spend an hour searching for a TV that's like correctly positioned. I mean, like most of my time generating these assets is spent trying to find the type of the photo that I need that is from the right perspective. And that, honestly, that's the biggest advantage of the AI, which is also still kind of a pain in the ass. But like, try to go on Google and find that image that we use from the door-to-door salesman thing. Like, I spent probably 2.5 hours sorting through stock photos, trying to find a photo that is guy looking out of a door. Like, it doesn't exist. There's no, because like stock photos exist to be sold for specific uses. Like, people aren't just like taking photos of random shit and then uploading it and hoping someone buys it. They're like, all 90% of stock photos were commissioned for a specific thing, and then they just become stock photos once they're done being used for that specific thing. So there's no reason to have a photo that's just kind of like empty room with door wide open looking at street. Like, that is not, that doesn't get used in real life. So there's no stock photo of that. So you have to generate that kind of thing. So a lot of my time when I'm making these things is just like, I did suspect that one was AI generated, which is fine in my book. I try to not generate AI, honestly, because it also is very tedious to generate stuff with AI. Like, that generating those shots could use your own door. Well, I would have to dox myself by taking a photo that looks out onto my front street. And even then, it's like hard to do that. Like, these are such specific shots. But usually I try to not use generative AI because it also is tedious and takes a long time. Like, those shots for the door-to-door salesman thing, it took probably an hour or an hour and a half to get them to look, and they still, to Laser Lady's point, they still look kind of fucked up. They still, everybody's saying like, yeah, it looks like AI. Yeah, it does. It looks like shit, but it's like, you're only seeing it for 5 seconds. What's the chair? This chair? I don't know. This is just some shitty chair that I got at, I think like Staples or Office Depot or something. I just got it because I thought it looked nice, but It's just like a shitty faux leather, fake metal, fake leather rolling chair. It's comfy. It looks like AI art. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is it's like I would not want to use AI art in like an A game if I can help it, because we spend so much time in that scene that like it will become distracting. Like people will be spending a half hour, 45 minutes in that shot. So those scenes, I want to spend a lot of time trying to make them look good because people are looking at them for longer. Whereas door-to-door salesman, like you're only ever looking at one of those shots for maybe 30 seconds tops. You try to find a legit one, no need to feel bad. I don't feel bad. I just like, I know that some people are just like extremely reactionary when it comes, and you know, this is not to say that all AI is good and fine and like there's not problems with AI. There's tons of problems with AI being exploitative for creative people and being used nefariously, and like, yeah, it's a nuanced topic. But it is a very helpful tool for the very specific thing that we do, and when we use it, we try to do it as thoughtfully as possible. Anyway, so that's sort of a little dive into how these scenes are made, and like I said, I would say as I've made more and more of these, it gets easier. One, it gets easier because I've just done it so many times that I know all the stuff. I know all the tricks, you know, like the first 5 formats that I made, half of the time was just like going on vMix's forums and like trying to figure out how overlays work and trying to figure out how layers work and trying to figure out how, you know, like there's all like vMix is so deep in terms of like what you can do with it and like the various animations and stuff, but it is really complicated. And it's also, it's not like OBS where there's just, because OBS is like totally ubiquitous because it's free, right? So like, and it's open source, so everybody uses it, and because everybody uses it, there's just a huge library of tutorials. You know, there's like 6 billion YouTube tutorials about any problem or idea that you could possibly have related to OBS, whereas vMix is pretty niche. And so there are great forums, but they're harder to sort of sort through, and it's like harder to figure out what you want to do. But I've just like gotten way better at that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that sped up the process significantly is there's just like this huge library that I've sort of created of everything of everything Now Show assets, where it's like the TV head guys and the bossa nova music that we use in a bunch of different formats and the overlays. And there's just like, as you watch Everything Now Show, you start to see the same things appearing in different formats, just sort of like slightly reskinned, or sometimes not even reskinned at all, just like truly just ripped from another format. So that helps speed up the process because I'm not having to reinvent the wheel every single time. I'm able to just kind of like borrow stuff from other formats and reappropriate it into the new stuff. But then each new format also it requires some new stuff always, and I try to add new elements every time. So not only because it needs to keep the show fresh, but because, you know, I'm trying to learn new stuff. All these Indian YouTubers who always solve my PC problems need to get into the vMix game. Yes. Honestly, the people I learn the most from about vMix are church guys. So this is something that I am Jewish, so I never went to church. There's a huge industry of live stream church. I had no idea. This is like a huge industry. Like there's a whole audio visual industry of guys whose whole job is to live stream church. And they're all in the vMix. They all use vMix, and they're all in the vMix forums talking about like different mics to use to mic the pastor and like mic the like choir and cut to different, you know, like scripture thing. I don't know. So that was crazy. Stumbled into the church stuff while getting into synths. Yeah, it's a whole world down there. I say down there because I assume most of it is happening in the South, but I don't know. So they have a ton of great pointers in the forums, and then sports guys, because that is something that vMix is used for a lot. They have a very robust replay feature, which we've never used, although at some point I want to try to figure out how to use it. I've just never dove into it because it's like we've never really had a use for it. But vMix has like really cool, it's got tons of built-in graphics that are very specifically designed for sports. Like we have timers. The only stuff that I really use for Everything Now show with that is the timers. Like you see timers in a lot of our formats, like 90-second timers. Oh, also, quick heat check. Is it nice to the people who are subscribed to the show? Do you like having the like timer on the bumper that says how much longer the bumper is gonna last? Because that is something that I feel like if I was watching the show, it makes a big difference. Even if it's like doesn't speed up anything, it's just like it lets you know that you're not going to be sitting in this bumper forever. Like it just kind of gives you like I feel like there's just some calming because then I know if I can go pee. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'm trying to make that a thing in all of our formats, that a timer is displayed during the bumpers. I would just make it automatic, except we don't always, it's not always the same timer, because most of the time it's 90 seconds, because that is how long our ad breaks have to be for how Twitch works. The ad breaks are 90 seconds. And so typically when we transition between segments, we roll the bumper and we roll an ad during that, because then we don't have to roll an ad during the part where the show is actually happening. And so we just make it 90 seconds. But then sometimes we don't have to run an ad and we just want to get back to the show as soon as possible. And so we don't have a less than 90-second timer. Or we do, but we just like have, so we have to do it manually, because if it was the same amount of time every time, I could literally just have it that, you know, like I could have a trigger that says when this bumper is played, throw up a 90-second timer. The other thing is that the ads on Twitch don't immediately start when you hit the play ads button. Like you hit play ads and then it waits like 5 seconds and then it starts playing ads. So timing it out is kind of hard, and so it's sometimes easier to just have a manual timer button. Anyway, this is getting really into the weeds. I don't mind because we just chill and chat and usually don't take too long. Yeah, I mean, we try to bring the show back as quickly as possible because some people definitely do leave. Like, I think for people who are on Twitch that aren't used to a show like ours, sitting and waiting for even 90 seconds, which doesn't feel like that long of a time, especially to us, because behind the scenes, we are like, during that bumper, we're like trying to re-explain to our guests, like, okay, so that was, you know, like we hit the bumper and then what's happening in the studio is we're like, that was so great, guys, like really fun first act. Okay, so what's happening now is it's gas station TV. So one of you guys is going to be like, you'll see us do it first, but the bit is that it's an improvised commercial and you won't get to see what the image is until you set it up. So you have to like introduce, you know, like we're like explaining what the next thing is going to be and changing out the mics. Usually the mics are already positioned, but we're like, you know, we have to adjust the levels on the mixers because we're using different microphones and we're queuing up the image, and like there's all this shit that's happening in this 90-second span. So for us, it's like it goes by really, really fast. But for a viewer who's just sitting there waiting for the show to come back, 90 seconds feels like forever. I don't have a point beyond that. Other than I get why having a timer is helpful, because when it gets to the like 68-second mark and you're sitting there watching it, especially as a new viewer who maybe is not watched an Everything Now show bumper before, you could be like, how long am I supposed to be sitting here waiting? Like typically actually new viewers aren't subbed, so they're just watching ads. So they have no idea what's happening. But if you've been gifted a sub or you subbed and you haven't seen that many bumpers, you know, you could be watching a bumper for 70 seconds and be like, is this ever gonna end? I'm gonna go watch some other stream. I'm gonna click away. Whereas if there's a timer there that shows you exactly how much more time you have to sit and wait, I feel like you're more likely to just grin and bear it. Yeah. So much theory involved in producing this show. Even though it seems like we're all just throwing on wigs and screaming at the camera for 2 hours. And sometimes it feels like that. Slime video next to the timer. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that we've definitely talked about, is just making the bumpers more visually interesting. There's certain bumpers that are way more visually interesting than others. Like some of them are just the name of the format with an animated background because I am lazy or I just don't have time to make something better. And then sometimes it's like the the town hall bumper, which we don't see anymore because we haven't done town hall in a long time, but that one is really great. It's just like a series of really insane stock footage. Or the call center one, I really like the call center one, that vintage footage of the operator, the like the women doing the operator gig from like the 60s or whatever, or 50s, 40s, I don't know. Limo doing donuts. Yeah, that one's yeah, the hearse. Yeah, the hearse doing donuts in lifting spirits for the funeral. That one's a classic. So who knew there was so much going on to make a head talking about granting terrible wishes? Yeah. Movie magic, baby. This song kind of a banger. This song low-key kind of a banger. Let me hit up Allsup and see if we're gaming or not. What time did he say that he was gonna get here? Does anyone remember? What is the story behind the Screaming Hollywood? You'll have to ask Rocky. Rocky is the one who made that bumper. We questioned screaming at first, but when you took it out, we were sad. I know. Everyone was like, please stop the screaming. It's so annoying. And then I was like, bet. I'll just make one with a cool, you know, like fun song. And everyone was like, we missed the screaming. Like, bruh. But yeah, Rocky is the one who cut together the original Hollywood screaming bumper. So if you want the lore on that, you'll have to ask him. All right, I hit a Allsup. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Drink more water. Drink more water. We love being quirky. Yeah, you guys are so quirky. Where the hell are you? I can't keep vamping. That is how I feel. No, I can keep talking about this show forever, but it helps when you guys have questions, because then like sometimes I'll just like talk about shit and I'm like, is this interesting to anybody? But when I'm answering a specific question, then I'm like, okay, well, somebody, at least one person gives a shit about this. Allsup says, had to grab a taco, but I'll be home in 10. Taco, that sounds nice. For lunch today, I had Whole Foods. Thank you very much. Jude Vespa. Jude, thank you so much for the tier 1. Welcome in. Look at that. We love a tier 1. We love a first month tier 1. Shouts out. Welcome in. Look at that. We're 1/4, or no, we're 4/10 of the way to our goal. The show has changed a lot from the early days. What led you to settling on this format? I think this was sort of the natural selection of creating something that is sustainable in the long term. Because what would happen in the early days is we would do a format and we would do it for like 3 or 4 months, maybe a little bit longer, and then eventually we would just burn out. Like, we just could not keep up with. Most of the early formats were very, very heavily written, like not scripted, obviously. Like, we weren't reading dialogue, but it was like much more heavily scripted, where we were either creating PowerPoints for every episode, we were planning bits, like full we were like planning full like 2.5 hour like narrative arcs. And I mean, first of all, that didn't work because that's not how people consume content on Twitch, although some do. Like, I guess the Dungeons and Dragons streams sort of negate that point. But like, I think what's nice, I mean, beyond the fact that like with these structures, we don't have to do any prep. Well, you can if you want. Like, Grant will sometimes come up with a bit before the show. And I will like think of character bits, sort of loose ideas for stuff before the show. But like, really, you can just walk into these formats with nothing and find it during the scene, which helps a lot considering how much other prep we have to do with casting and creating sets and all the other sort of like administrative minutia that goes with producing a show like this. So this format really strips away a lot of the creative prep that needs to be done. And then I think also it is way better for capturing new audience members, because if you tune into the show, the old shows, it was like if you tuned in an hour into the show, you're SOL. Like, you've missed so much that the show is completely incomprehensible. Where these these character cavalcades, that's what we call them. These character cavalcade formats are normal Everything Now show format, a Jonks, a Rideshare, they're designed so that they're segmented, and that the segments, although there are callbacks and there are references to stuff that happened earlier in the episode, you can kind of drop in at any point during a stream and like pretty much figure out what's going on. Like, it might take a couple of minutes to like fully get it, but like based on the visual context, that's another thing. Like, we've really honed the visual look of the show so that you can just sort of drop in and without a ton of context immediately be like, okay, I'm in a car. This guy seems to be an Uber driver. This person then must be the passenger. They're making small talk. Got it. Okay, I'm like most of the way there. I can figure it out from here. I will stay and watch. You know, like, and then if you watch for more than 10 minutes, like a new character starts and now you're basically fully caught up. Like, now you've, you know, even if you come in the middle of a character, if we can just hold your attention for whatever, I don't know, 10 minutes, then the show sort of resets. You know, like, after each character, the show kind of like has a reset and it's like a new time for people to come in. So, you know, like that has been like one of the biggest sort of philosophical ways that we've had to retrain our understanding of like how to produce a show. Because in real life, in like theater, that isn't a thing. You know, like in a comedy show, people come at the beginning and then they leave at the end. There's no like open revolving door of hundreds of people coming in for 5 minutes in the middle of the show, leaving, coming in 20 minutes later, leaving. You get raided by 200 people an hour into the show. Like, that is not a thing in real life. So with Twitch, if you're creating a show and not like a, you know, like, that's why I think that's part of, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why video games are so ubiquitous in live streaming. I mean, like, it's, first of all, I think there's I forget what the specific type of bias is, but like there's the sort of Venn diagram of people who are tech savvy enough to play video games well, and the people who are tech savvy enough to set up a live streaming setup and have the capital, you know, gear and tech to do it. There's way more overlap with that than there is with like improv kids. You know, like improv theater kids don't know shit about how to live stream most of the time. Whereas a gamer is gonna typically be more adept at the computer, like the tech requirements. Do I want to kiss? Are you here in real life again? I thought we were gaming, bro. Are you in my house? Come in here. Are you here? Come in here. I can't hear what's outside my door because I've got headphones in. Who do you think this is? I thought it was Allsup because I was just texting with him. Now maybe I don't know. Is it Grant? I know it's not Chris. Chris is having a bad day, so he would not be in here fucking around. Chris is having a rough go of it right now, based on the updates we've been getting in the Slack. Rocky is... Could this be Rocky? I don't think this is Rocky. Rocky is not like a he. It's Alex or it's Grant. I don't know. Now I'm confused. Why you gotta call Chris out like that? I'm not calling him out. It's not his fault he's having a bad day. He's just having a bad day. I hope his day gets better. It's not going good for him right now. I think he would admit that. I think if he were here, he would agree. He's having a rough go today, but sometimes it'd be like that. He caught his penis in the car door. I can't confirm or deny whether that happened. I don't know about that, but I think it's fair to say he's having car trouble. I won't speak on his behalf all that much, but I'll just say Chris is having some serious car trouble that started last night and has continued into today. And so that's never fun. Never fun when your car doesn't work. So that's what's going on with Chris. So everybody Venmo Chris. That could be a fun surprise. That could be a fun surprise for Chris. Everybody, this is sending money to fix his car. Don't actually do that. I think he gets weirded out when people Venmo him. My car is working, so it's cool to be me. It's cool to be me and have a functioning car, I gotta say. Look at Gus posted up. Whoa! Oh, I thought you were Allsup.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Alex Allsup. My mustache is inexplicably darker than my hair color. My, long hair color.
Folks, it's Alex.
Me, Alex Allsup. Hey,
he's here.
Hey, everybody. Hey.
I thought he was going to get a taco.
Hey, guys. It's me, Alex.
Whoa,
hey.
Alex ASMR.
Wow.
You want to play video games with me and Alex?
No.
Cool.
They gotta hit the sub goal.
Yeah, I know. This is fucked because we're gonna do it.
6 more subs and I'll play video games with them. Not today, but another day. And that's a promise. And you know how good we are at keeping our promises. Look at Gus. On God.
Look at this little guy.
Okay.
What a guy. Oh, tummy boy.
What a guy. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Grant.
Was it worth it? Was the wig and the fake mustache?
Absolutely, it was worth it. So you were the one saying you were gonna come to kiss me, yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it'd be really weird if you weren't, and that was just a serendipitous. Okay. Bye, Grant. That was Grant. You never know who's gonna show up on the Jake Show. Gus MVP. Gus is pretty good, but have you considered? Oh shit, you can't see her. What is that shot of? She's just barely framed out. Have you considered B hiding under the chair? You just see a tiny little toes. When can we get B and Gus's emotes for ENS? I don't know. Oh, we should get B and Gus's emotes for the Jake show at least. I think they make more sense on the Jake show. We'll see. If there are any artists in the chat who want to take a crack at drawing a Gus and B emote, I would be forever thankful. What do we think about this jazz? Got the okay from Jude Vespa. I don't know if that's Jude signing up to draw Gus and B, or just a affirmation that they're still here. You guys planning more live events? The first one was great. I think so. I mean, yes and no. Yes, we intend to do more. No, we have not planned when the next one is going to be yet. We've talked about it a little bit, but we don't know when it'll be. If I had to guess, it will be in August, because we've already pretty much scheduled out all of July with a few exceptions, and we did not schedule in a live show for next month. So I'm gonna guess that it will probably be towards the beginning of August, but I don't know for sure. But the ones we've done so far have been really fun. The last one was stressful for me. Oh, there she is. Doing a little moonwalk. I know, so cute. So cute. Just cut a pic out of her head. People love it. Oh, dry shot. That kind of looks like B. It's got the same sort of like center part alfalfa haircut as B. Yeah, maybe I should just take photos of them and cut them out. I don't know how emote uploads work. Chris has been the one, and I think also has been the one to do that on our channel. I mean, I'm sure I could Google it and figure it out in 30 seconds, but everything is so much effort. It's Bajo's. Bajo? He's an Aussie streamer. If he's Aussie, how do you pronounce that? With a Spanish J? Bajo, but if you say Barjo in Australian accent, Bajo. It kind of sounds like that. Quasar is the name of the cat. That's cool. How do we feel about these Gigantify emote things? I think it's cool. I think it's fun to make big emotes. How much does it cost? Is there a minimum amount of bits that you need to do to make a big emote? I was so thrown off the first time I saw it. I thought someone was like hacking when there was just like a giant. It's 30 bits. That feels reasonable. 30 bits on my channel. Oh, I can set it. Oh, interesting. I might just set it lower because, like, who cares? I want big Jake dancing. I'll look into that after this. But also 30 cents isn't that bad. I feel like 30 cents is reasonable for gigantified Jake dancing. This is 20 bits. Whoa, what is this? It's like a highlighted message. Tom Walker changed it to 10,000 bits. That's awesome. That's kind of interesting. Go Gadget. I don't like that as much as Gigantify. Go Gadget redeemed Peter Griffin on screen. Wait, what? Is Peter Griffin on your screen right now? I can't see it. It's for everybody? Oh, we gotta turn that off. A ton of them flew up all over the stream. Okay, we're turning that off on the main channel. I didn't know you could do that. I'm shocked nobody... I mean, I don't care here. Fine, whatever. Do it, you know. Ruin everyone else's stream as much as you want on this channel. I don't care. But we cannot have that on the main channel. That will be abused. I'm shocked that no one's done that yet. Have they? There's no way for us to see it. That's what's really crazy, is the streamer is totally oblivious. Like, I'm just watching myself in OBS right now. I guess I could pull up my stream, but that's not how I watch the stream because it's delayed. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's... Yeah, drop a pic in the Discord. I want to see that. Surely that could be disabled, right? Needs a hee hee. Yeah, it would be good if it had the Peter Griffin laugh. Okay, that one I don't get. Why would you ever want that? I did it during the air traffic, but I had the flames. Oh, that's good. I like that actually, Mjorn. That's a funny bit. But like, we can't toggle that, you know? Like, if we could just make it that happen for specific bits, it's a cool idea. I'll have to look into how hard it is to change that, because I do kind of like that is getting my creative brain thinking of like, what are some other situations where it would actually be, you know, like diegetically, you know, it would make sense diegetically for these things to be appearing on the screen. That's a pretty good example of like fire on a plane or whatever. But yeah, like 99.9% of the time, I can only see it as being insanely distracting for our show. And the fact that we have no control over it, whatever. Pick in Discord tagged you. Okay, let me see here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, this is awful. This is terrible. Why would you ever want this? I can't imagine a single scenario where somebody's watching a stream and they're like, I'm glad that the screen is covered in emojis right now. Like, thank goodness some other random stranger who's not the streamer I'm watching decided to cover my screen in a bunch of emojis right now. This is awesome. Like, what is the appeal? Who is that? Oh, that's Brack, right? From whatever the fuck that show is. I never watched that show. Space Ghost? $5? This is fucked. What's $5? The taco? Are you still getting the taco? What's happening? Is that also? I mean, thank you. Oh, chain together. Yeah. Use show funds. We're using show funds. Alex, just expense it. This is an expense. We could 100%, if we play this together on stream, that's 100% something we can write off. Yeah, can we get 2 more subs, because that is how much it costs to buy this game. If we can get, I mean, that'll be $10 for you, but it'll be $5 for us, and then we can play this game. Thank you, GoGo Gadget, for covering everybody else's. I mean, like, I guess this is great for me. I guess, like, do the emotes as much as you want, because I can't see them, so it doesn't bother me at all. It's just everybody else who has to deal with them, and we get 40 bits every time you do it. So everybody go spend your bits covering the screen with Peter Griffin or whatever. That rocks. Thank you, GoGo Gadget. All right, cool. So I guess we're gonna play Chain together. I spent over 2,000 bits on the stupid power-up things for the first couple days. Wait, what's power-up? Power-up is the make things big? And I think they count towards hype trains. Oh, interesting. Can you see the emotes in the VOD or only live? I don't know. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out when this stream is over. That's what those are called. Make big, highlight. Okay, I see. Oh, interesting. Wait, I can do them. I can do them for free because I'm rich. And by rich, I mean I'm in charge. Look at that. What is that thing in the bottom right corner of this shot? Oh shit, Allsup's calling. Okay. I have to pee though. Let me are we doing this on Discord? We should do this on Discord. I'm gonna call you on Discord. I never remember how to do this shit, bro.
Yo.
Yo. Did you get this game?
What up?
Are we gaming, bro?
We're gaming, brother.
I'm
I'm eating a taco right now.
Oh my
I'm
God.
loving life.
You're living your best life.
I'm living my best life.
All right, you finish your taco while I go pee, and you can talk to chat too. I think they can hear you. Chat, can you hear Alex?
Yo, can you hear me, chat? What's up? We're gonna game.
Okay. All right.
Who's ready?
You talk to them while I go pee.
Get hyped. What's up, everybody? I'm eating a taco. I'm eating a delicious chicken taco from Loki. It's a really great spot. God, it's so good. It's like a I don't even know how you call it. It's kind of like an al pastor chicken, like the same way they cook al pastor pork. And it's got some spice in it. It's got some guacamole. It's got some pickled red onions. Laser Lady, it's like LOQUI. But yeah, I'm feeling great. I was talking with Jake. Whoa, sorry. I'm gonna be eating and talking at the same time. Did Jake say anything cancelable this stream? Yeah, y'all can call me Alsup, that's fine. You can call me Soup. No, we tried. Thank you, Laser Lady. Apparently there's a chain in New Mexico called Alsups. Rocky took a picture of it. I've heard from other people about this chain. My family has nothing to do with it, but my dad has gone and bought plates and cups from there that have our name on it.
That's what's up. I'm back, by the way.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. I want to try to figure out how to put a video feed of you in here at some point.
Oh,
someday.
Can I just do that on Discord?
I mean, yes, but I have to figure out how to bring that in, which I guess I could try to do right now. Here, yeah. Well, hold on. I want a game capture. Is this gonna work? Okay, so far so good. And then I want to start a video call.
Sure. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
On Discord? You know what that means.
Oh, on Discord, yeah.
Yeah, try that.
Okay. Did I just turn on my camera?
I guess. Okay. And then now I just have to figure out how to get that feed into Discord. Let's try. Ooh, video capture device? Or is that going to be a camera, do we think?
We got some tips from McCoy here.
Okay. Stream vid, then pop out the video and window capture. Oh, okay. I like it. Oh, wait, that's me again. That's just me. Hold on. This is wrong. This is just a worse webcam. Let's get rid of that. All right, so I'm popping out your video. Yup. And then I'm going to window capture that. Yup.
Are you doing OBS right now, or are you doing vMix?
I'm doing OBS.
king.
That's right. I'm dual streamer software, bro.
OBS Chad versus VMix Cuck.
Okay, here we go. And now I can just crop you. Oh, hell yeah. Oh,
Am I
I'm
here
a genius.
on the screen?
I'm low-key goated. I think this works.
Speaking of Loki, check out this friggin' taco chat. Oh,
Chat, can you see
flour tortilla.
Can you see his taco? Did I do this right?
Ooh.
And then
Mm.
and then if I really want to get fancy with it,
Look at that.
I put
that
this.
shit.
I'm blocking it temporarily. There we go. I want to put a little frame around you in the way that I did on my thing.
All right, I need to sound off for everyone who is on the right side of history and believes that flour tortillas are superior to corn tortillas.
All right, this is
for tacos.
painting with way too broad a brush. You can't just say they're better. Like it really depends on what's in the taco. Like I'm not eating a flour tortilla. I'm not eating a flour taco and a fish, or a flour tortilla and a fish taco. In a fish
Yes, you
taco,
are.
you want a corn tortilla.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, it's way better in flour. Any taco is better with a flour tortilla.
I think 99% of the time I'm with you, but there are certain times when the corn tortilla just kind of hits.
No, you're wrong.
Okay, well, this has been cool. Thanks, dude, for calling in.
Yeah.
Something's wrong
Yeah,
with the Discord call. You're
Yeah,
cutting
something's
out.
something's not working.
This actually isn't working. Let me fix the color on your camera feed.
Wait, Go Gadget, what are you ordering at Taco Bell with the corn tortilla?
There you go. Now you look cool. Oh, you can't
What's
see
up?
what you look like on my screen.
I have the stream. Oh, sick, yeah. I look deep fried, baby.
I'm trying to make
I look like
you
an end screen.
group. Here we go. This is what I wanted to do. It's all coming together.
Damn, Go Gadget with the snark.
What's Go Gadget saying?
They said they like corn tortillas for things at Taco Bell, and I was like, what things? And they said tacos. Fucking got my ass.
Dude, you just got freaking roasted, bro. Get owned.
Got my ass.
Wait, why can't I? Crazy things are happening for me right now. FYI. All right, we're almost there. I'm just doing some last little tweaks on your camera feed.
Do you play with a controller?
I tried when I played with two puppets, and I found it to be significantly harder
Then
than playing on mouse and keyboard.
what if I have a trackpad and keyboard?
A trackpad.
I don't have a mouse.
You don't have a
on me.
mouse? Bro, what are you doing? How do you not have a mouse?
I have one. It's at work. I didn't know. I thought I was just gonna play on controller or something.
You can play on controller. Bro, how do you not have a mouse at home?
What am I doing? What am I doing with a mouse at home?
Playing this video game.
Like, why can't I just do trackpad? Why is mouse such a? What are the controls? What is mouse doing?
Looking around. I mean, have you ever played a game like this where you're just like trying to climb
Have I ever
shit?
played a video game?
Have you ever played? Did you play? Wait, hold on. How do I? Password. We need a password. All right. The password is gonna be okay. So beginner mode is checkpoints. I think no beginner mode. I think we do normal mode where you don't get any checkpoints. If we get knocked off, we have to start from the beginning, basically.
Okay.
You'll figure it out.
My stream's being weird.
Open chain or closed chain? I guess it doesn't matter when you have two people. Okay, so do you have the game open?
I installed it,
Bruh.
but now it's just showing the install sign, but it's grayed out.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Oh shit! Wait, can I not play this on?
Oh, brother, you're on a Mac? Bro, what is happening over there?
Damn, am I gonna have to get my?
What happened to your gaming PC?
I don't have it. My gaming PC. I have my laptop. I don't have like my.
Do you not
tower
have a PC? I thought didn't you have a huge? What were you doing Blender on? What happened to that big ass tower?
I sold it. But I have my MSI. Let me pull that. Let me go.
Oh yeah, use your MSI. That's what I'm using. I'm ripping the MSI. Mjorn, that was a perfectly timed Curb Your Enthusiasm. Thank you. I don't know if Alsop was able to hear it, but that hit for me in a major way.
Don't worry, folks. I'm dusting off the ancient artifact
Let's
MSI.
go. Rocky said that he tried to play this game on his MSI and it immediately crashed. But I'm playing it on mine and it's running fine. So
it's not even like that crazy of graphics, right?
I think his computer's just fucked up. I did just replace the fan in my MSI and it was nasty in there. So it could just be overheating.
He even had like a newer version than ours.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
He did. Okay. He has the one that looks cooler because it doesn't have like a weird dragon on the front.
Okay. Let me...
Didn't I stream cleaning my MSI? I didn't stream it, but I posted photos of it in the Discord, so that's probably what you're thinking of, Go Gadget.
I want to keep using this laptop for my camera, so I don't have to fuck around with that anymore.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is this too crazy?
No, this looks good. This is workable.
Everyone just remain calm.
Everyone chill out. We've kind of screwed up my sub goal. I guess I'll just make the sub goal 4 and we hit it.
Well, it's for Grant now, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It is for Grant now.
Grant's the bigger get than me because Grant doesn't game.
True.
This could have been disastrous. Could you imagine if I just set this all up and I only had a Mac?
Thank God you're a dual computer man. Oh, we got the calm down from Go Gadget. Go Gadget, you're going wild with these. What are these things called? Oh, also, did you know that there's a new feature? You've seen the like gigantic emote thing, right?
Oh yeah, I saw it the other day and got freaked out.
Yeah,
like a giant Peter Griffin.
Yes, but there's another thing that's part of this update where there's like new things you can do with emotes, and one of them is if you pay, what is it, like 40 bits, it just sprays that emote all over everybody's screen.
We can't have that.
That was my reaction. I was like,
how do we turn that off?
We need to turn that off immediately. And what's worse is that the streamer can't even see it. Like they aren't even aware that it's happening when it happens. It's just like all the viewers are subjected to this like spray of random emotes. Uh-oh, it's lunch. Can you hear the automatic feeder? Look at these cats. It's lunchtime. Or I guess dinner time. Yeah, there's pictures in the Discord of what it looks like. They were doing it. Go Gadget was doing it in the Hangout stream earlier today to show me, and it looks so bad. I was saying I don't know why anyone would ever do it. Or like I know why someone would trigger it because it's funny for them, but I don't know why anyone would want that to be on their stream.
But it's just for them to see it, or is it everyone?
No,
on the stream?
everybody except for the streamer sees it because it goes on the stream itself.
We can't see it?
We could see it if we were watching the stream, but like I'm in OBS right now and I can't see it in OBS. So like the only way that I would be able to see it is if I was watching my own stream like on Twitch.
Oh, this is horrible. So it's just been happening this whole time?
It could be. I asked if it had happened during our show, and I forget who. Somebody, I think it was Mjorn, said that they triggered a fire one while during one of the plane segments, which actually is cool. Like I think I was trying to think like there might be some scenarios in the show where it like diegetically makes sense for some sort of emote to like appear in that way. But I feel like it would be too hard to toggle it so that it can only be used during those times. That's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
And you can also do like highlighted messages now with bits. It can be easily abused. Yes, I agree, Mjorn. It can be easily abused. I like this multicam setup. This looks good. I don't know where we would put a third camera. I guess we would just make a smaller, or maybe in another corner.
Yeah, just keep putting it along the bottom.
Yeah.
All right, my MSI is firing on all cylinders. Oh shit, what's happening?
You jinxed
It's time to upgrade it's time to upgrade your PC. No.
What? Is it talking about Windows? Does it want you to download Windows 11?
10?
Windows 10?
No, it's saying I need to update to Windows 11.
No, you don't. You can skip that. I've been doing that. It's lying.
It's saying I can't. How do you skip?
There's like a secret button in there somewhere. It's near the bottom.
Oh, keep Windows 10.
Yeah. They just don't want you to know about it.
Fine upgrade. Yeah, get fucked, Windows.
I actually don't mind Windows 11. It's okay. The studio PC runs Windows 11 and it's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm Mac pilled now that I use Mac for work.
Yeah, I'm kind of Mac pilled as well. Except for when it's time to game.
My early 20s, I was like, I want the control, man. I want to be able to customize all my shit.
I want my desktop to look like a vending machine with all of my little apps and different...
Yeah. And now, in my old age, I'm like, take all those features away.
I don't want any of that. All I want is my text messages to appear on both my phone and my laptop.
Yeah. I want to do that. I want
to be able to airdrop a PDF to myself.
Yeah, that's all I need it for.
Are we friends on Steam?
Oh, do I got to go add the Dark Prince of Improv?
Have you not already?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works. I don't know how friends work on manage account. Friends in chat. Who are you? What's your username?
It's like the same one I've had since I was like in 7th grade. I think it's called a Hippo Starch.
I don't think I have you.
Maybe I'll change it to the Light Prince of Improv.
Yeah, dude, just steal another one of my bits, dude. Yeah, that's cool.
The light Duke.
Yeah, he's a conjoined twin. He's a light Duke. Yeah, cool, dude. Cool.
That was crazy.
That is such an.
I definitely wasn't there for that.
No, yeah, you definitely weren't. It's not stealing bits; it's borrowing. Good point, Go Gadget.
That's so
yeah.
funny.
Also, you're gonna get a bunch of friend requests from all our loyal viewers. Now that
is that what happened to you?
Doxed your honestly, I've gotten 0 friend requests since it's been revealed.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want to get any.
Yeah, we don't want to be associated with that guy.
Yeah. This is crazy. It says updating Steam and it's doing it out of kilobits.
Uh-oh.
So it just says like 74,000 of 193,000 kilobits.
Oh, that's good. I thought you meant it was like going up at like 1 or 2 kilobits per second. I was like, we might be in trouble here. Are you hardwired?
What do you mean? Internet what? No.
Oh, okay. That should be fine. probably.
I
Hopefully.
don't think I'll have an issue.
Have you seen this type of game before? Like this, I think the one that like blew it up was Only Up. Although I think Gary's mod has had this type of thing, but where you're just like climbing on shit, and if you fall off, you fall really far, and you have to climb back up.
I beat what was the very first one?
Oh, the guy who's in the little pot.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that game?
I can't remember what the game's called, but I beat that game. It was very hard, but it was very fun.
Yeah, I was having fun with this one with two puppets, although I was definitely the one getting over it. That's what that one was called. Yeah. I was the one fucking up most of the time when I was playing.
That one you need a mouse. That one you need a mouse for sure.
Yeah, this one, I was playing it for a while with my Xbox controller just because my MSI got so insanely hot that it was just like uncomfortable to have my hand on it. But you'll be fine.
I got my.
What are you working with? What is that?
My Rocket League special here.
Is that a Mad Cats? What are you rocking?
Mad Cats? Yeah, I got the Mad Cats GameCube controller. I'm gonna make this work.
The Game Shark?
Yeah, dude. I got the GameStop General.
The GameStop special?
Yeah. Nah, dude. I got the official DualShock.
Ooh.
Fucking.
I'm more of an Xbox controller guy. I find that the PlayStation controller doesn't fit my big meaty hands as well.
Weird flex.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you have tiny little dainty girl hands, that one probably works pretty well. But when you've got big chunky man hands, you kind of need a big fat Xbox controller.
For sure, dude. You need a big Chad Xbox controller. I was playing on an Xbox controller for a while, and I actually switched to DualShock because it's better for Rocket League.
Oh, really? What makes it better?
The trigger system, you can do the claw better, which is where you hold it like this, where you...
Do you watch competitive Rocket League at all?
I used to, and then I started having sex.
Well, I don't, so I watched some of the most recent tournament. It's pretty crazy.
No, I used to watch a lot. I really loved watching Arsenal.
Oh, yeah, on Space
Arsenal's
Station.
videos.
I don't know if he's still on Space Station. I was just watching. I just saw that there was a new tournament. Like I watched a bunch of it like a year ago, and now I still get the videos recommended occasionally. And there's like a big world tournament a couple days ago, and I don't know any of the players, but I was at least aware enough to be like, the final was the U.S. like the American team or the whatever North America team versus some other region. So that was enough to get me hyped. I'm slowly getting Patriot pilled because as the Olympics start to approach, and I'm getting more of sort of like American athletic propaganda
because of Rocket League.
No, well, I think because I'm getting served like promo for the Olympics on social media and like TikTok and stuff. So I'm getting like hyped about American sports, basically, like the American team. And I think that's transferring into Rocket League a little bit too, where normally I don't give a shit about patriotism or America, but when it's the Olympics, I suddenly become very patriotic.
Yeah, especially now that skateboarding's
yeah. Is this the first Summer Olympics of skateboarding, or was it last one?
No, it was Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yuto's a Japanese skateboarder, won the whole thing. I honestly don't really like the modern competitive skateboarding like layout, but for the Olympics, it's fun to watch.
They should do skate.
Just play the game of skate.
Yeah. Oh, like, the video game. They should play the video game skate.
Yeah. All the pro skaters just like put their boards away, grab the controller.
Have you seen that they're making a new skate?
Yeah, I want to sign up for the play testing.
Yeah.
See a creative Steve. I'm just not reading the chat again.
Oh, I'm not reading the chat either. Did Steve leave?
Steve's leaving. Yeah, I want to play test that.
Yeah, I keep seeing that. That would be a really fun game to play together once that comes out as a crew. Be a little skate crew. do tricks, play skate against each other.
Dude, I love that game series.
I know. I'm so sad that they don't have a PC version because I don't have like a console to play it on. I tried porting Skate 3. I got like an emulator and I tried to play it on my PC and it kind of worked, but it was really janky.
Yeah, I don't get why they don't just port it. They'd get like crazy sales on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure now they're just not doing it because they want everyone to buy the new one and it's going to be free to play and like, you know, one of those, you know, buy a bunch of skins and skateboards. I mean, imagine how much money they're going to make selling digital skateboards and digital.
Yeah, they're gonna be rolling in it. I really like how the future of skateboard is like Japanese children who are not even out of primary school. I know, it's crazy. There was this video of this kid. I don't think he was Japanese, but it was like this young, like under 10-year-old child who was hitting the vert ramp and did back-to-back 900s, which like that was Tony Hawk's
I saw
trick
that.
of, like the peak of like prime skateboarding was Tony Hawk landing that trick, and it's just this 10-year-old that does it literally goes up 900, lands it, goes on the other side 900s again and lands it again. I'm like, this is absolutely insane. The way this is scaling.
Yeah, what is
crazy.
What is the trick now? Like, what is the modern 900? What is the thing that no one can land? I haven't kept up with it.
I don't know. No one really watches competitive skateboarding like they did back in the day. I feel like the whole, at least the U.S., was pretty captivated by skateboarding in that era.
Yeah, true.
But skaters now, like true core skaters, don't even really like watching competitive skateboarding because it's kind of icky.
Yeah, it's like competitive improv.
Yeah. Oh my god, competitive improv brings me back to Chicago, baby.
Every time, yeah. Oh my god. Every time I drive past the clubhouse, I have flashbacks.
Oh my god.
I have flashbacks to the tournament that we lost there. Or was it? No, wait, we won there. Where did we lose?
We won at the clubhouse.
We lost at that place that was by UCLA.
Yeah.
That was crazy. We did a killer, right?
When we lost, we did a Herald.
Didn't we do a killer during one of these tournaments?
Yeah, I think we won with the killer.
That's true.
X Games does still exist. I'm actually getting ads for like to buy tickets for the X Games in California when it's coming.
Where do they do that?
I think in Ventura.
That makes sense. The Valley.
The Valley, baby.
Skaters in the Valley. How are we looking on this download? Where are we at?
We are at 1.48 gigs of 4 gigs.
Bruh. Hardwire that shit.
How do I...
What do you mean, how do I...
I don't have that long of an Ethernet cable. I donated them all to the show.
You should take one. Take one for the team.
Also, if there's like a wire going from one room to another room, JC's gonna have my head on
You
a
don't
stick.
need it for to play the game. You just need it to download the thing.
Oh no, I don't have a. Oh, you mean like take it over to the thing?
Yeah,
and plug it in?
just pop it next to the router while you're sitting here eating your taco and plug it in and download it really fast and then come back and play.
Okay. 1 second. Let me see if I even have one.
Folks, what do we think about this dual Everything Now show collab hangout stream format? This is the first time I've ever figured out how to get another video feed in. If this is viable, this is how Rocky and I should play Minecraft next time with two camera feeds. It's good. Do more. Yeah, it looks good. I like it. I like my little frame here. Let's see if I can put this into my face cam setup. Hold on. Let me see if this works. Can I just pop Allsup in here? I can use him to cover up my litter box so that you guys can't see that. That's great. Oh, no, wait. When B does that on the bed, that means that she's peeing. Are you peeing? No! Oh my god, B peed on the new part of the bed! No! Fuck! B, no! Bruh. This is the part she's supposed to pee on. Not the new comforter, bro! Oh, that's F. B!
I'm so messed up with cabling. Like I don't even.
Oh, you hate to
I think
see
I have an
B.
Ethernet
This is the
cable, but
part
I
you're
have
supposed to
like
pee
a
on. This is the pad.
coaxial cable.
This is the pee pad, B. Fuck.
What is happening?
Let's see if it went through to the comforter.
What is Jake doing?
Easer, squeezer, bad girl.
Oh, beat on the bed. Oh no.
Alex,
Oh no.
my cat peed on my bed.
At least it's only the worst smell in
I can't hear
the
you if you're
entire
talking. I took
earth.
my headphones out.
Cat
I
piss.
gotta get this comforter out before it goes into the comforter. Probably already has. All right, everybody just
Now
talk
this-
to Alex during this
Now
part.
this is content. This is what we've been waiting for. What's up, everyone? It's Alex from the Everything Now show. Ask me anything. Yep, it's Alex Stream. What's up, everybody? I'm eating chips. How many tacos did I actually buy? I bought 2 tacos and some chips and guacamole and salsa. What episode have you broken the most, laughing wise? That's a good question. I mean, recently, I honestly can't remember like overall, but recently, it was the job interviews with the Grimace gooning. I broke a lot, and not just because of the Grimace gooning scene, but that whole entire episode was just really great guests, and the guests were just killing me the whole time. But usually, I pride myself on not breaking too often. Second mention of Grimace gooning. Oh, did Jake mention the Grimace gooning episode? That was a good one. Your breaking is like so subtle. Yeah, it's mostly just me like biting my tongue physically or biting my lip, so I don't laugh. But to me, I think I really don't like to break. I think it makes it way I think it makes it funnier if like there's like a really insane situation and the person in the scene is still so serious about everything that they're not like laughing at it, you know? I think that like really brings a lot to the scene. But there's also times where breaking like makes things really funny, but for the most part I think it's nice to really just like try to hold it together. You mentioned it as an example of how things went blue but it worked. Yeah. Yeah, that's a you can go blue but just don't keep going blue. Like make it smart or like make it grounded somehow. And that's how you can like get away with it. I like your pothos plant. Thank you. I have a lot of plants in my house. This is the only visible one, but I love my plants. Um, yeah, usually blue doesn't work well for the show because it limits where the scene can go. Yeah, it's always just better to just start with something that's like, not necessarily mundane, but something that's grounded. Because then you can build on it and get super weird. I'm sure Jake already hit on this, but that's like when in job interviews, I'm like always trying to get a normal job, even though I'll take grimace gooning it sometimes. But it's nice to start with like a grounded job because then you get a real freak that comes in and they can build on that and explore with it. Do I have a personal favorite format? That's a good question. I haven't done my format tier list yet. My favorite format to do. My favorite format to perform. I really like to perform on Jonks. Jonks would probably be one of my favorite formats to perform on. Um, Rideshare is really fun because it's just very open. I like performing on Oops All Rise. Uh, it's because you have to kind of stay grounded, or like my characters that I try to do usually uh, always have like a kind of duality of like normal and crazy. So it's like either a really normal person that has like a crazy hobby or a crazy person with a normal hobby. Whatever that is, I try to really like pack in types, two like sides of a person to make it feel like this person can actually like exist in the real world and be placed in the real world. Because I have a lot of fun with that. And it's also fun to just like to move between a weird person and a straight man character where you can introduce something really like insane to a scene, but then you can also like if Jake as the judge says something weird to me, I can like kind of straight man him and like be like dig into that weird thing and make him feel insane. It's nice to have that flexibility. Please tell me Grayson isn't dead. No, I don't think he's dead. He's just been back pocketed. Just because, I mean, Grayson had, if you look at like the early episodes of job interviews or like the first however couple of years we did job interviews, Mr. Grayson has a great arc. There's always like, he goes through a lot of shit. Like we did like episodes where he's not interviewing people. He's going and doing interviews for himself because he lost his job and he's like riding the bus to his job interviews and he's like going through all these ups and downs. That's where like Dino Longucci Blood for Gold was from one of those episodes. Like there was a whole like he's very tapped and he's been explored a lot. So I feel like it was time to try out a new host character that could also bring something new to job interviews because it was always Mr. Grayson just kind of being the doormat for people to come in and just trample on. So I wanted to create a character that was more representative of like a corporate, like really just stubborn atmosphere where it's like professional no matter what. Because I thought that would bring an interesting mix to the format. Um, Bahuma says, I know y'all have like sort of de facto point people for certain formats. Grant for Umlaut, Jake for Judge Diaper. Nice. If you could steal a format from one of the other boys, which would it be? Ooh, this is a great question. If I could steal a format. I mean, we've been like changing host a lot recently, but I think there are formats that are kind of really tied to the person, like especially Umlaut with Grant. I feel like that format is so tied to his character and Jonks, especially. Like, of course, Jonks is tied to Jake. So it's hard to. I'm trying to think of what other ones people are really tied to. I guess the courtroom one too. I would love to try to be a judge one time. I think that'd be fun. Try to do Oops All Rise. Um, I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd also like. I think it'd be fun to try out hosting lifting spirits. Chris did Jonks for like 3 minutes. Oh yeah, wasn't he like Lonks? There's something I didn't watch that episode, but I heard about it. Yeah, I think it would be funny for someone to do a whole episode as like a makeshift jonks. We do like we get like another mountain face asset, and make a new jonks guy that's like a substitute jonks. Oh no, Bahamut got missed with an ad. Well, let me know when you're back, and I can tell you my answer again. I'll give you the shortened version. His lesser known cousin that grants only horrible wishes for other people. Yeah, something like that would be fun. Or like just imagine there's like a Mount Rushmore of like Jonks heads and people are just going to Jonks, but then you find out that like right around the corner of the mountain there's like four more heads that are talking to other people. They work in like it's like a DMV window situation, but it's like Jonks heads that you're going and talking to. Boom, I don't know if you're back yet. Oh yeah, you're back. I was saying Oops All Rise, I think, would be my first choice to try and do the judge. And then I think my second choice would be Lifting Spirits. Yeah, of course.
I'm back.
You were the OG Lifting Spirits. Oh yeah, we did. We did one. What was it? Visa the fortune teller. That was fun. And we just told fortunes. The way they made Lifting Spirits is a lot better. I really like Lifting Spirits to perform on. That's when I feel like you can. I feel the most comfortable to try celebrities. More importantly, Vladimir John Andrasic the third. Jake, did I hear Jake? Is Jake back?
I'm back. What's up?
What up?
What up? My cat pissed on my bed.
Let's go.
Let's go. The bad news is it was a brand new duvet cover that I bought literally like 2 days ago. The good news is that it did not. I caught it fast enough that it doesn't seem to have leaked onto the duvet that was inside of the duvet cover.
Ooh, okay.
So that's clutch. Both are machine washable, and I have the special spray that Bahamut is talking about that breaks down the proteins in the cat piss. That I guess is good. So we're chilling, we're vibing. This happens a lot, but usually she pees on that green thing that is supposed to be for peeing on. I mean, really, none of the bed is supposed to be for peeing on. The litter box is supposed to be for peeing on. But if she's gonna pee on the bed, the plastic green thing is supposed to be for peeing on. And usually that's what she does. This is the first time she has peed on the bed, not on that thing, which makes me think that she's really mad at me for something, but I don't know why.
She really doesn't like that duvet cover.
Yeah, she usually just pees on the bed when she's mad at me for not paying attention to her or being away for too long. And I think maybe it's because I'm on stream. But now she doesn't have any more pee because she used it all on the bed. So joke's on her. I can game.
All right, so I have 3 launch options here. Do you just do the vanilla?
I did vanilla. I tried one of the other ones and it fucked up, but vanilla worked for me.
Okay, I'm doing vanilla.
Okay.
You just see like an explosion off camera and just a bunch of metal flies into my face and I die. How sick would that be?
That could be kind of epic.
What the fuck? It says launching, now it says downloading content. What the fuck? How many downloads do I have to
You gotta
go through?
download it, bro. You just downloaded it, now you gotta download it, bro. You gotta actually download it, bro.
Crazy. I feel insane.
What did you talk about when I was dealing with my cat piss?
We talked about my least favorite cast member, and I said you.
Cool, cool. Good, good. That's actually
No,
convenient because I actually said the same thing.
I was sick. At least we're on the same page. No, Bahamut asked what if I could like steal a format, like as a host character, which one would I take? And I was like, well, we kind of rotate hosts anyway, but I feel like there's some formats where the host character is very connected to the person, like Umlaut or Jonks. But I was saying, Oops All Rise would be fun to try to be the judge, or Umlaut would be my second.
You should
My
definitely
second.
try Oops All Rise. I would like to try being the defendant in Oops All Rise. So I've always wanted to be a traveler in Jonks.
I don't know. I think